Welcome back, everyone, to Threading and Dreading. It's been a little bit longer than we usually take to get these out, and you'll hear crinkling in the background. Gee, thanks.
Welcome.
It's been a little bit longer. That's just because some of us have still been recuperating from getting over being sick. I think we finally kicked all the bugs we had, right, Kim?
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood, yeah. Now one of us is going to be terribly sick, watch.
Yeah, thanks, and it's probably going to be me.
You're welcome.
Guys, thanks.
So we'll go around the room and introduce everybody. To my left we have...
The Goddess of Gore.
And how are you?
Getting better.
Good. You're almost better. Still a little bit of a cough, but you're almost better now.
Yeah.
But across from Kim, we have someone who's been on I guess you could say, a 2-month hiatus from the podcast. But we're welcome to have her back. Ladies and gentlemen, it is...
Fangirl Extraordinaire.
And how are you doing?
Good. I am missing the warm weather of Hong Kong.
Yeah. It's like, the winters in Hong Kong are so bad, it gets down to 50 Fahrenheit. Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means, so meh.
About 18 Celsius.
Yeah, that's the kind of weather that we've been having, and I'm not complaining about it at all. Thank you very much.
Oh, Lordy. But you've been well?
Yeah, had a great holiday. Lots
Good.
of planning, wedding planning and stuff, so fun times.
And how was your Christmas?
Great.
Good.
Had a lot of fun. Lots of family time.
And you actually brought us back a couple gifts from Hong Kong.
Yes.
And Kim, do you want to explain what you got?
A bunny.
You got, yes, a live bunny.
All the way from Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's running around right now, pooping everywhere. Yeah. Oh, no, hey, got that through customs, but...
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I'm hilarious. But no, it was a little tiny trinket. That was cute. And I got the same, except it's piggy.
It was adorable.
It is cute, but
Yes.
because I'm a pig.
No.
No.
Because you like spicy bacon. Because
Well,
it has the peppers hanging underneath.
Yeah.
yes, that's peppers hanging underneath. But thank you for that. It's cute.
Yay.
And you brought in the New Year well? Mm-hmm. Good.
I think I was drunk for both holidays, so I'm not completely sure.
But it doesn't take a whole lot to get you drunk, though.
I'm working on my alcohol tolerance.
Good.
Yeah, I had so many glasses of wine that I don't think I could count on Christmas.
And you've now recently discovered that you like wine.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because for a while it was Strongbow and occasionally a mixed drink, and that was about it.
Yeah. But you know what? I like wine now.
Good.
Probably a bad thing, actually, but we'll see.
But it has to be a sweet wine, though. You're not a big...
Not necessarily.
No?
Yeah, I've been drinking lots of reds and just not necessarily on the leaning towards the sweet side or anything.
Red's better for you. But,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, I hear what it is supposed to be good. Like 1 serving per day
Right.
is supposed to be
Right.
okay.
It's good for your heart. Yeah.
Right.
It helps prevent your arteries clogging. Basically, it prevents it loosens cholesterol from clogging up your arteries and your veins, and helps prevent strokes later in life. I could be
You know.
Da, da, da. Rainbow across the sky. Any news you guys want to bring up?
Oh, I just wanted to say that. So when I got back, I got my Secret Santa presents.
Mm-hmm.
So one of which I'm wearing right now. Actually, it's a Harry Potter T-shirt that says "I'm a keeper," and I love it. And the other thing that I got was a Benedict Cumberbatch calendar.
Aww.
And I was so happy and excited to get it. So thank you to my Secret Santa.
You don't know who the Secret Santa is?
Oh, I do. I actually knew who it was before the whole thing. And so I kept dropping hints. Actually, no. I told my brother to tell the person, this is what I want.
Nice.
So I
A
got
little
what
bit
I
more
want.
straightforward
Yay.
than just a hint.
Right.
Well, just the calendar, though. So
Oh, okay.
the T-shirt, they figured it out themselves. So thank you.
And you had a pretty good Secret Santa, too, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
What did you get?
I got a memory card for my phone, and I got I don't know what you call it, like a little lap
Lap desk.
Oh,
top.
I love those things.
Yeah.
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 Because I never like to get out of bed.
Exactly.
And remember, you had seen one in Brookstone that had the padding underneath, and you didn't really like that one, but you had mentioned, oh, I
Well,
kinda
no,
like
well,
these.
because I always like if when I'm usually on my laptop, I'm over here,
Right.
and I just sit like on the chair, on the couch, or something, and I'm always uncomfortable. So I wanted something. I was like,
Right.
oh, that's a good idea.
So apparently this place is uncomfortable, is what she's trying to say.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, good. Good. I'm glad you liked it.
Uh huh.
I tossed some hints to whoever was your Secret Santa.
Uh huh.
Good
I
job.
figured.
Yeah. And I don't know if you heard about this or not, but do you recall for the last couple years that I've had a doll in the corner of my house from
Yes,
the
I heard
timeline?
about this.
You did.
Yes. Do you see? Can't you tell how excited I am about this thing that we're going to implement for Secret Santa?
You sound so thrilled.
So incredibly thrilled.
Let me explain to our listeners real quick what this is. So, about 3 or 4 Christmases ago now, our buddy Steve, Super Sexy Steve, for Christmas, gave me I guess you could call it a doll, an action figure, if you will, from the movie Timeline. Now, for those of you who don't remember Timeline, it was
A bad.
A shitty movie that nobody saw.
right. I mean, it was about a bunch of 20-year-olds going back in time to save a bunch of people and save one guy who gone back. And I think it had Heath Ledger or it may have had Heath Ledger or I forget the other actor who was in Fast and Furious who just passed away.
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. I can't recall which one it was, but they were the lead actor in it.
I think if anything, it would be Paul Walker. I don't
Probably
think it was
Paul
Heath
Walker.
Ledger.
Yeah.
Either way, they're dead.
Yeah, that's
Aw.
Sorry.
grim.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I did that.
Yeah,
I apologize.
yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring that up. But, you know,
Figured I'd throw
the
that out
goddess
there.
of gore, everybody.
Ta-da!
You're welcome. I felt like that was something Paul would have said. So
Yeah.
keeping it alive. I mean, not that Paul's dead.
Oh,
Whoa.
whoa, oh!
I mean,
oh God!
that sounded weird. I mean, oh my God.
This was
I know
something
he
you
hasn't been on here in a while, but no, he's fine.
No, he's fine. He's fine.
We did not do anything to him.
Yeah.
He is alive and well.
Yeah, Allison, on the other hand. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay, I think we need to stop this. You know, stop this. Stop while we're ahead. Actually, we're not that far
Not
ahead
that far
at all.
ahead. No, we've never been ahead. Anyway, back to Timeline. So, not a very good movie. Not many people saw it. And who was it?
It was Paul Walker.
Paul Walker.
And Jared Butler was
Gerard?
Gerard Butler?
Jared.
Jerry Butler.
Jerry. Oh yeah, Jerry. Jerry was
You
in
know.
it. Yeah.
Me and Jerry go way back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so not many people saw it. A very obscure movie. Well, anyway.
David Thewlis was in it.
Who?
Lupin was in it.
Oh, Lupin.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
I will forever. I know he's Lupin, and that's the easier name because I remember that name. But it will always be King Ivan from Dragonheart. But just throwing that.
You know,
out there.
that was him.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've seen Dragonheart. But yeah.
Love that movie.
I've never seen it.
Oh, we should watch Dragonheart sometime. That's a fun movie.
We need to see a lot of things.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. So anyway, we digress. So, movie Timeline. I got a doll from Steve, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And he's like, oh, well, you know, we figured since you're a movie buff, this would be something you liked. And turns out it was just a gift that they got that they had no idea what it was, so they re-gifted it to me. So I literally had no idea what the hell to do with this. So I just stuck it in the corner of my house somewhere, and then by the next Christmas, sure enough, someone found it and displayed it prominently in my home, either on my desk or my counter. So I'm like, what the hell is this doing out? I'm like, oh, it's your Christmas gift. You should display it. Like, you know, it's something to be proud of. So finally, last Christmas, I had the idea of, you know what? I'm not keeping this thing.
Technically, I had the idea.
Yeah, it was Kim who originally had the idea. And said, you know what? Someone else should get this. You shouldn't have to keep this thing. Give it away. So, sure enough, whoever was my Secret Santa, I'll just go ahead and say it was Allison. I decided, you know, I got her a couple of gifts, but then I got her one more bigger gift. And then she opens it and she looks at me and says, really? And I was just like, yes, it begins. So from now, every Christmas from here on, whoever was, gotten the timeline gift from the year before, whoever is that Secret Santa shall then get the new timeline gift.
I think whenever the next time someone has like a bonfire or something like that, I don't know if Steve will again or not, but they should just burn it. Whoever has it should bring it over and we'll ceremoniously burn it.
Why?
Because nobody wants it.
But that's the point. It's the albatross. It's like it's the fruit cake.
So just get rid of it.
But if we do that, it's totally going to come back to life and get us.
Oh,
that,
yeah,
right?
that's true.
Yeah, we can't do that.
No, we don't want any Chucky dolls running around.
Well, first
no.
we held an exorcism, and then you
God.
burn it.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Okay.
Oh, Lordy.
But you know that, as karma goes, you're probably going to get it back eventually, right?
Oh, and I realize that.
Okay.
I understand that probably next year she won't even I won't have her as my Secret Santa, but I'll probably still get it anyway.
Somehow.
Or she'll
yeah.
give it to you for your birthday this
Yeah,
year.
get it for my birthday this year or something. I'd be like, no, this is Secret Santa. This isn't for birthdays. In which case, if it's for birthdays, everyone's just going to get it all year.
Oh, God. That's awful. That sounds awful. Who has, the last birthday of the year?
Steve, I think.
You?
I do?
I don't know. When's
When's
Steve's
Steve's
birthday?
birthday?
Steve's birthdays, I thought, was in December.
No,
I'm
it's November.
November. So if it's Steve,
You can give it back to him.
that is who I think should have it.
He was originally gifted it from someone in his family.
Right.
So he should
Really, it's
originally
him.
have
It really
it.
is his, right. What you do is don't even tell him. Just take it into his house
And
one night
leave
and
it
just leave
there.
it somewhere. Put it in
Yes.
Madison's room. Just
Yes.
Well, no, you don't want to terrify Madison.
That's true.
She'll play with it. She'll have a good time
or
with
give it to Madison.
Yeah, enjoy this. She'll have fun with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting into a little bit of movie news, we have 3 things we want to touch on, all of which are interesting or upsetting depending on how you view them. But the first one being that Disney and Lucasfilm are looking to pick up Chris Pratt for a Indiana Jones reboot.
Wait, why do you have to reboot Indiana Jones?
That was my first thought.
Can't we just keep... Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, no. Continue.
I can't... I love the first one and the third one. Can't we just...
Leave them alone?
Leave it?
Right.
Well,
I mean,
But-
love them.
I know, as do I. Oh, no, here's the thing. I love the first and third one so much, I'm willing to forgive the second one.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll still watch the second
Yeah,
one.
the fourth one is a piece of shit.
and then the last one just doesn't exist.
No,
Right.
no,
What
we
last
do not
one?
acknowledge
Yeah.
that. And I
It
hate the
stops at
fact
3.
that if you go to any retail store, you can't buy the first 3 and omit the fourth. You have to get all 4. I'm like,
Yeah, you
fuck
have to get,
that.
a box
Take that 4th
package.
copy and burn it out back. I don't want that.
With the timeline doll.
Yeah.
With the timeline doll, right. But anyway, the plans for this are still very early. But it's being reported through Deadline that Walt Disney Pictures and Lucasfilm are speaking to and eyeing Chris Evans to potentially
Wait, you said Chris
replace...
Pratt before.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris Pratt. Sorry, Chris
They're
Pratt.
totally different.
No, not Evans. Sorry, Chris Pratt.
And because it's on the internet, it must be true.
Right, must
Of
be
course.
true. Right.
Everything is
So
true.
they're eyeing him to replace Harrison Ford for the headlining star in the new Indiana Jones
To
reboot.
replace Harrison Ford?
Yes.
As in he...
As in Harrison Ford will not be in the movie.
I like Chris Pratt.
Me too.
It seems like it would actually be a pretty good fit. But I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
Now, my first thought was they're already talking about making an Uncharted movie, which is kind of like a modern day version of a video game Indiana Jones.
Okay.
And I thought if they're going to do this, Chris Pratt would be a good Nathan Drake.
Is he going to be Indiana Jones?
Yes, he's going
Not
to.
like Indy Jr. or anything
No,
like that?
he will be Henry Jones Jr.
Or not like... I mean, he's kind of older, but not like young Indiana Jones. Wasn't there a show or
Yes,
movies where it
there was
like
the
young
Indiana Jones Chronicles, right, when he was younger, right, and that was for 2 seasons, I think. Yeah. Which, I liked that show. It was a fun show. But, yeah, this would be something along a reboot where we'd go back and see his other adventures when he was younger.
Think I might be okay with that.
My only I like Chris Pratt as an idea for Indiana Jones. The idea of it is fine. I just don't want to see any more of these.
Can't we just do a lost artifact thing and name it something else?
And not Indiana Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be
I
okay
mean,
with that too.
why? I understand the whole name recognition and getting people in, but I don't know. I feel like I want to just yell, people aren't that stupid. Just make a good movie and people will see it.
I agree with you. But I think, like, in every generation, there is some kind of iconic movie in which gets remade, right? Like, you know, in that time, there must have been a movie that was remade. I have no idea. But, like,
It seems like your whole argument is not based on any facts.
no, it's not.
Okay.
It's based on complete conjecture.
Okay, well, let me give you an example. You think that, like, every so often there's an iconic film that just gets remade into something, not necessarily better, but just a different version of it.
Yes.
I'll give a good example. The Fly or The Thing. 2 movies which were classic 50s movies, which were kind of a little corny, you know, and for their time, but then remade in the 70s and 80s with the vision of Cronenberg behind it and John Carpenter, and made extremely creepy, extremely dark, and were very well done.
Were the originals as popular as...
They were popular.
As Indiana Jones?
Nowhere near as popular as Indiana Jones.
So they were
But-
remakes of not bad movies, but, like, not as well-known movies.
Well, they were well known, but they're well known in the horror genre. They weren't mainstream movies. They were well known for people like us, but not necessarily for the common moviegoer. Indiana Jones is a name that, like,
Everybody knows.
Everyone knows
Everyone.
practically, right?
I need to rewatch those movies, by the way.
Oh, yes. We need to have an Indiana Jones night.
Marathon.
Yes.
Yes.
But omit the 4th one.
Yes. Again, it doesn't exist. I don't know why we
Right.
were talking about it.
Yeah, and
Right.
by the way, Disney, Lucasfilm, if you do this reboot and it has something to do with fucking aliens, I'm coming to Orlando and beating the shit out of you. No more aliens. No, that pissed me the fuck off. Well, we're not going to get into that. Well, I could rant about that for years, but we won't do that. Now, here's the thing. Harrison Ford has actually suggested he could come back for one more movie. He didn't really want to come back for the 4th one.
Because it was shit.
Yeah, it was shit. But he said that he felt good enough to come back for a 4th one. He didn't say whether or not he would have liked it. He just felt he could have done it one more time. Now, we saw in the 4th one that half of the action scenes were very toned down, and he had a lot of stunt doubles. But
Because he's older,
right.
which is
Yeah.
fair enough.
Fair enough, right? This year he's turning 73.
Oh.
Yeah. Harrison, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I see him being is, like, if they brought him back for one more movie, have him as the role of, like, Sean Connery.
Well, I was
Not
just gonna
doing a lot of
ask.
action, but, like, on the side, still doing a couple things here or there.
Yeah.
And on an advisory role. I think that'd be great.
I was just about to ask, how old was Sean Connery when they made the 3rd one?
He wasn't that old.
He wasn't that old. But then again, Sean Connery just doesn't age anymore.
No. He stopped.
True.
He hit max level. He's done.
I mean,
Sean Connery has looked the same since the 90s.
Yeah.
It's strange.
It's the beard.
It is the beard.
It hides the,
Right.
aging.
What you're saying is Harrison Ford needs a beard.
He does have one every now and then.
He does, yeah. He does. So anyway, moving on to our next bit of news, and this was just announced actually, I think, yesterday officially, is that Emma Watson is to star in Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
Yep, I heard that one.
Now, this had been rumored for a couple of months. They had been talking back and forth, but not confirmed. But it has been officially confirmed by both the studio and Emma Watson.
Live action Beauty and the
Live
Beast?
action Beauty and the Beast, yes. It says here that she has been cast as Belle in the upcoming live-action interpretation and will be directed by Bill Condon, who you may know from the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn.
Oh.
Yeah, thrilling.
But, the writing was bad, right? So,
Yes.
you know.
I mean, he was working with shit to begin with.
At least
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast wasn't written by Stephanie Myers.
This is
Yeah.
true. This is very true. Now, the production is anticipated to begin later this year. And here's actually another bit of news. When this was first rumored that she was going to be signed on to this movie, it turns out it wasn't for the Disney version. Warner Brothers is also making a Beauty and the Beast movie. And they had tried to recruit Emma Watson for that. That was going to be directed by Guillermo del Toro.
oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But Guillermo del Toro backed out of it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
gonna be a little less awesome.
Yeah.
So, in turn, she backed out.
That makes sense. That's
So
a good choice.
no one knows what's really happening with this one over at Warner Brothers. But since then, she's now signed on to the production with Disney. Now, all that aside, what do you think of this casting?
Awesome. I'm okay with it. I'm great with it.
I think it's good. I mean, for right now, for all the people I can think of in Hollywood, I think that's probably one of the better casting choices I can think of.
I mean, I love Emma Watson, so. And I'm hoping that with this live action movie that they will change the story a little bit. Like give the female character a little bit more to work with rather than just, imprisoned and what's that syndrome called when you Stockholm syndrome.
A lot of people said that Belle did suffer from Stockholm syndrome, and I get that. But I have to say, of all the Disney princesses, I like Belle the best, only because she was the first one who was actually, fucking smart. She read books all the time.
Cinderella just couldn't because she was trapped and had to clean the house all the time.
True enough, yes. But
Likely excuse, you
Yeah.
know. I'm not buying it.
but for all intents and purposes, until she was kidnapped, Belle was pretty self-sufficient. I mean, she was learning and she was rereading books all the time, and she was she was bad. I mean, there were guys who were assholes who were trying to pick her up, but she was like, "No, fuck you," I'm able to do what I want, and I'm just going to read books. And I think that was great. She was. If it hadn't gone on to become, a story about, her falling in love with a beast, I thought it would have been something along the lines of someone like Mulan.
Mulan is awesome!
And who was, independent of that kind of story.
She's my favorite!
She's okay with just being herself. And I thought that was great.
Except she wasn't
She
exactly
wasn't
herself.
herself.
She had to pretend to be a man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay,
So there's that.
Yeah.
Well, then how about Brave?
I actually never saw Brave.
Oh, you should watch Brave.
I need to see Brave.
It wasn't the best Pixar film, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was okay. So no, I liked Belle.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that she had Stockholm syndrome just so much as Beast had a ton of books. It's like that was the deal. That was it was like, okay, you have an entire a warehouse of books. Yeah. I'm staying.
A library?
No, it was no. That wasn't even a library. That was enough that you wouldn't even call that a library.
Have you been inside a library?
No, what's a library?
Yeah. They have a lot of books in there.
Oh,
A lot.
it'll be extinct in 10 years.
No, don't ever say that. It makes me sad. But I don't know. I always liked Belle. I mean, she went there to free her father, and she basically bartered with the beast. Take me and let my father go.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
not like. I mean, she was still strong.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think
And then
it was
and
really
she had
any
a
sign of weakness.
Right. And she had a chance to leave, but then when she saw Beast dying, she helped him. It wasn't like. I don't think she really had Stockholm syndrome at that point. It was that she saw a dying creature who had just saved her life, and she's going to help it.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, no, I get the whole Stockholm syndrome argument. I was like, I just don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
anyway, but I do agree with that casting, and I think she'll do a fine job.
I think she would be amazing in anything that she does. I really like Emma Watson. She's my hero.
Along with Kristen Bell.
Along with Kristen Bell. No, Kristen Bell is more like my girl crush, and
Oh, okay.
Emma Watson's my hero.
Okay.
No, Julie Andrews is my hero. No, they're both. Anyway, let's continue.
I'm putting together a fan movie in my head right now. So we have
Oh my god.
Kristen
wait.
Bell, Emma Watson, Julie Andrews,
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch,
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston,
Oh my god.
and she's melting in her seat.
I would watch that movie.
No matter what was going on.
I
she would
wouldn't
watch.
care if they were
Mute
just
it and
standing
watch it.
there.
Supporting cast: Idris Elba. She just squeaked a little.
I think I would watch
So,
that.
our final bit of news, and this was just announced today, and this has been rumored for many, many months, but it's finally been announced. Ghostbusters 3 has been confirmed and
Oh,
will
I
be an
saw that.
all-female cast.
I did see that.
Is that possible?
According to what this is reporting,
Are you
Like
saying
all female cast?
all-female cast.
As in, like, there
You
is going to
mean-
be not one single male cast member.
as in headliners or
well,
even extras? No
Yeah.
men allowed.
Yeah.
no, well, that hasn't been announced yet. What they're reporting, what the studio is saying, is all-female cast. Whether or not that says extras who are just standing off in the background, no one knows. But what the studio is reporting is all-female cast. So, I'm just going to read through what a Hollywood Reporter is giving us right now. And that is saying that right now, the 4 headliners, which are going to be the 4 Ghostbusters, are going to be Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Leslie Jones, and Kate McKinnon.
I love Kate McKinnon!
3 out of those 4 I really like.
Here's Leslie Jones.
Leslie Jones is actually on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, I like her too. I like all 4 of them.
I've actually seen Leslie Jones do stand-up. She's very funny.
I like all 4 of
Yeah.
them.
So,
Who is it that you don't like?
Melissa McCarthy. He hates Melissa McCarthy.
But why? Because of the roles that she's been given?
Yes.
That's not fair.
not the...
That doesn't sound very objective.
It's the roles that she continues to play from the same people that give them to her.
But is that her choice?
It should
Do
be
you
her
think-
choice.
I think, like, otherwise, do you think she won't get any work otherwise?
I would think she'd be able to get other work.
Do you really think so?
Yes, I do.
Do you really 100% think so?
Let me give you an extreme, but I think a fair example. Let me say that
horrible
there
person.
is an actor. Let's say one of the Wayans is typecast terribly as like a really negative African American stereotype, but he's good at that African American stereotype. And then from then on, he tries to get other work, but he can't get it. They only cast him as that negative stereotype. Is that fair to him?
No.
Then should he continue to play it?
Well, yeah, otherwise, if he's not going to get any work. Yeah. I mean, yes, integrity is one thing, but, you know,
So integrity
getting paid is another thing.
integrity means nothing so long as you get paid.
Well, no, it means
That's
that I
not
can.
what she said at all, actually.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Despite that, let's discuss this cast. Okay? So,
I like it.
Kristen Wiig,
Love her.
I'm back and forth with her, but there are movies I've seen her in that I've liked her. I can't say I like all her movies. I haven't seen many of her movies, but there are a couple things I've seen her in. I liked her.
And she was great on Saturday Night Live, too. She was also in Flight of the
Liar.
Conchords, the 2nd season.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, she played Barbara or
Bra-bra. Bra-bra.
with the epileptic dog.
And you killed Karen.
Yes. I have to go and watch it again now. I'm sorry. I think I just broke a couple of glasses.
Anyway.
Oh my god.
So also we have Leslie Jones, and I do like her. I think she's very funny. We recently saw her in, what was it, the Ghost Hunter skit? You remember that?
I have no idea. I don't know who she is.
Well, she's
I
one
have
of
to
the.
see a picture.
Here, I'll actually pull it up. Here you go.
It's a really tall one.
Oh, okay. I remember that skit.
Yeah, it was Ghost Hunters, and she was the one like black lady who was with the cast,
Yeah.
who was just not having anything.
Yeah, she was supposed to be the skeptic, and then
Right,
she
the
was like, oh
skeptic.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty good on SNL.
Yeah, and I've seen some of her stand up, and it's very funny. And then Kate McKinnon, I'm sorry, I have no idea who she is.
Oh my god, she's also on SNL. I
that's the one
love
person on the cast
her
I didn't know.
so much.
What else has she been in besides SNL?
I don't know actually. I've only seen her on SNL, and I think she's got her own website where she puts like skits up or like drawings or like comic skitty thingies.
That's okay. I mean, I don't know. That's fine.
I'm not good with describing things apparently.
It's okay. Now, I'll just read a little bit more of this report, and it says that negotiations are ongoing, but the quartet are expected to sign as a specter-seeking, poltergeist-punishing, phantom-following foursome. Gee, good reporting there. In this reboot, Oh, so it's not going to be a sequel. It's going to be a reboot. Oh. Well, that's interesting. So they're basically just saying, okay, we're ignoring the first 2 movies and starting over from scratch again. So which one's Bill Murray?
I don't know.
And they're looking to start shooting this summer in New York.
I mean, do you think if it's a reboot, do you think they'll have the same exact story but with women instead?
I don't know. That's a good question. And also directing this is going to be Paul Feig, which is the director of Bridesmaids and The Heat and a few others.
Right.
And basically anything that he is in now has to have Melissa McCarthy in it. Now we're going to get into that a little bit later. But okay, so I do want to talk briefly about what has been going on with this production. Now, Ghostbusters 3 has been rumored since like time incarnate. It's been rumored for like the last 10 years. People have been saying, "Oh, we're going to get Ghostbusters 3 in, 2004. We're going to get in 2006. We're going to get in 2009." They just keep delaying it over and over because they get some of the cast back and then someone leaves and there's a production problem and they delay it. They thought they had something going a couple years ago when they finally got all of the core members back, but then Bill Murray changed his mind and said he'd only come back if he was a ghost. And the rest of the guys were like, we don't know if we're on for that. And then they thought they got settled again, and then Harold Ramis passed away. And at that point, it just died. Like, you know what? We don't know if we're going to even do this anymore. Then all of a sudden it came back again with this discussion of Paul Feig. And we're like, wait a minute. We thought this production died. Sure enough, it did die. Now apparently they're making it into a reboot. I'm kind of feeling the same way about this as I do about Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. I didn't even want to see Ghostbusters 3 because I knew it would just be forced for nostalgia and trying to cash in a little bit more. Right. Not because they had an original idea, just because they want to get a little bit more out of that Ghostbusters teat. Just milk a little bit more money out of it. And I was... Honestly, I was happy when it went away. And now they're bringing it back again. Mm. And I'm at the point now where I'm like, I don't want to see another one. I'm done. I'm completely done.
I mean, okay, well, I actually have not seen either of the Ghostbusters movies.
What? Get out.
I know.
Get out.
I do need to see them, and I know. I think it's one of Robin's favorite movies, but so I do need to see it. But I feel like with this... it's going to be a completely new reimagining of it, right? Like if they're all, at least the headline and cast is going to be all female. It's going to be a completely different retelling of the story. So even though it's a reboot, and yes, they're cashing in off the name of it, I feel like it's kind of difficult where you're in a place where you want to do something similar because for the Indiana Jones, I think you can very easily do an artifact type movie and redo it
like
again.
The Mummy and stuff like that.
Right. But with something like this, I feel like you cannot really move away from the title. Everyone's just gonna be like, well, this is just Ghostbusters. So with that being said, I think this may be the only way to kind of have a retelling.
I get that, and I really, really don't want to be cynical about this, but when I saw the headline, all female cast, and after the problems that the studio has had with this production, because for the last 5-6 years, this studio has been getting hounded by fanboys. The fanboys have been saying, look, you need to make this, you need to make that, you need to make this, and the studio basically at every corner has been just cowering at the fanboys, like just arguing. Now, that's a whole other argument. The fanboys are a bunch of morons who really want too much out of the studio. But now the studio has reacted with this. And call me cynical, but I see this, and I see the studio saying, you know what? We don't care what the hell you want. We're going to make this because if you don't like it, you're a chauvinist.
I think this is going to be one of those debates where... I mean, you can't just say that. That's a blanket statement.
And it is, but it...
And I'm actually offended by the fact that, you keep bringing that up constantly over and over and again. Like, the idea like, oh, well, if I don't do this, therefore I'm, sexist. Oh, if, I don't like this movie, I'm sexist. Like... it's frustrating, that argument, because
it is. I'm frustrated because they keep making it.
Because the thing is, yes, there are going to be some people out there who are going to say that, but at the same time, it's like, why are you criticizing the movie? Why is it that you have a problem with it? Maybe deep down there is a very patriarchal and there is a chauvinistic and sexist root to that hatred. And I don't think that necessarily is true in every case. And I don't think that, it's just like what is wrong with having an all-female cast?
Well, inherently nothing.
Exactly.
There isn't. I just don't like the response that it's going to get. Now, to compare to something else.
But the thing is, it's like, who is going to give you that response? It's going to be other people on the internet. Like,
it would be people who would be wrong for it. I agree with that. But to compare to something else, recently we talked about American Sniper, the exact same way. If I were to criticize that movie,
I don't want to get into that.
I know we won't. But it's the whole thing of, if you say something negative about the movie,
then you're
suddenly your whole military. And
right.
we won't get into that, but I think it's the same thing with this.
It is.
And I hate that happens, but
right.
it's going to happen, and I don't. It's almost like the studio is backing down to that.
But why is it? What do you mean backing down?
It's a response to saying, look, you're going to keep criticizing us for doing this with the story, and doing that with the story, and bringing back this cast member, not that one. So they just said, you know what? Screw Ghostbusters 3. We're going to reboot it with an all-female cast.
So what?
So I don't think it's them trying to be creative or original. I think it's just them trying to shut people up.
So what? Like, it's almost to a point where it's like, yeah, the studio can basically do whatever the fuck it wants. Right? Like, if that is the purpose of them making it, yeah, that kind of sucks, for the artistic merit and everything. But hey, it is what it is.
You can take that stance, and that's fine. But for me, it's more about artistic merit. For me, it's more about the quality of the movie.
See, and this is where I'm cynical. Where, again, I bring up the whole idea of, it is what it is. It's a movie. It's a business. It's a private business. They can do what they want.
They can. I know.
And and I really don't think that, people who are going to come out and say, if you don't like this movie, therefore you're sexist or something like that. Well, I think that's dumb. That's dumb as shit.
Oh, it is. I agree.
Because, obviously people don't like a certain movie or whatever for their own personal reasons. It may not have to have anything to do with that. So, but it's frustrating that, that becomes a defense.
Again, we're going to get off this argument. I know we don't have to keep talking about this. But to take it back to something like Bridesmaids. Okay. Now, when that came out, it received almost universal acclaim. It seemed like everyone I spoke to loved it.
Right.
Except for one critic, or a couple of critics, from Spill, who came out and said, look, we're not hating this movie. We just don't think it's the best one of the year. And we don't think that a few of these cast members are that good. We think that some of these actions are pretty reprehensible from what we think are supposed to be good characters from protagonists, and we don't think it's that good of a movie. They didn't hate it, but they said, you know what, we're not a huge fan of this. Immediately, Jezebel, Mary Sue, all of them came out and said, you're a bunch of chauvinists for not liking the Bridesmaids.
Not necessarily, right? Because even the way that you put it just now, the way that they're supposed to be, it's pretty reprehensible for certain characters to not have done, they were supposed to be the good characters, but they did things. Stuff like that. There is a slight elitist kind of connotation to that. So maybe that's what they harked on. And, there are so many different ways in which people represent themselves and so many different ways in which people say the things that they do and respond to the things that they do and why they respond to certain things. And, with that being said, it could be a complete misunderstanding because it's the internet and that happens. But at the same time, you can't shut them down. Like, there's no point in saying, well, that's a stupid argument because it's a stupid argument. Because not everyone is like that. That's not an argument. That's not saying anything.
Wait, you've lost me.
Like, by saying, like,
you're by people criticizing Spill, or by Spill making that argument? I'm assuming.
No. The further,
okay.
even take it one step further to say, like, I'm saying that Spill can make that argument, people can react to that argument, but then, when you say, well, when you respond to the idea of people saying, well, that's sexist because of blah, 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 and then you go, well, that's a stupid argument to say that we're sexist because we don't like the movie. Period. Like, that's it. That becomes a non-argument because you're not saying anything. You're just saying, well, you're making a blanket statement, but it's like, but I've given my, I've given my 2 cents.
You don't think it's inherently, you don't I'm sorry, I keep
we
saying
can
we gotta
cut
move
this
on.
bit out. Like, this is.
I know, we're ranting a bit. I know. Well, we can move on. I can tell Kim is like, what's our first trailer? But I'm not saying it's always going to be the case, but you think it's should always be addressed whether or not, like if someone comes out and says, you don't like this because you're racist or because you're sexist or something along those lines, you think that if that argument is made, it should always be addressed?
Well, yeah, like if say I'm saying, well, you are sexist for saying this.
Mm-hmm.
And, if we reduce it to you're sexist because you don't like the movie, well, that's stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can both agree on that.
Right.
But once that argument does get reduced to that, then you say, well, then, you're stupid for making that argument. Then it's just basically a circle jerk, right?
Right. And I'm not saying that there aren't going to be fanboys who are going to come out and say, oh, they made them all females, this is stupid, I don't like it. I'm not saying that isn't going to happen and that people shouldn't call them out for their bullshit.
Right.
What I am saying more often than not is I feel this is just a diversion tactic by the studio. And I hope this is good. I really hope they do something creative with this. And from what I have with the cast, again,
I think they can do something.
The majority of them I really like, and I think they'll do a fine job.
Right.
I just don't think they were doing it because they thought they'd do a good job, but because the studio said, fuck the fanboys.
Right. But, making assumptions makes an ass out of you and me. Like, we are basically just assuming what the studio is thinking, what the fanboys are thinking, what the reactions are going to be. We don't know until the movie comes out, right?
Very true.
I think my only reaction to this movie news right now is I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see what they can do with it. And we can't discount the artistic merit until it comes out.
Right.
So.
And as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad who they got.
Right.
But I don't want any more.
Right.
Don't anymore. At this point, I'd be like, you know what? What if they turned around and said, "Oh, we're gonna reboot Star Wars now," and I'd be like, you know what? Stop. And I don't care how original they try to be, with all the different tweaks they can make to the cast. No.
I mean, they did
Stop.
that with Star Trek.
Yeah, and well. That's a whole other thing because it was from a TV adaptation, and
But then there were also movies, right?
Right. But the movies never started from the original. The movie started from the end of the TV series. You can get on a whole debate about that,
Yeah.
but that's a whole other story. But anyway, Kim, any thoughts?
Nope.
You don't want to? Are you looking forward to this? Are you?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I feel like we were arguing way too much. I apologize.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Then-
this is what we did after we saw Mockingjay. We stood outside the theater, and we just basically yelled at each other for like 30 minutes.
and
that happened.
and look, we won't get back on that. I still have my stance. You still have yours.
Yeah, we're gonna agree to disagree.
We're gonna agree to disagree.
We might have like a whole nother podcast. just to talk about that.
We both agree that we liked the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, we both really liked the movie.
It was a good movie.
What we were bickering on was very fine little points.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
it is what it is.
Yes.
I would say not about Mockingjay, about this. I don't know. I feel like every single time you have a movie news, it's about something being remade or rebooted. Or
Oh no, we have a
sequel
reboot corner every week. I know. I need to get like a little theme song for
like,
reboot corner.
Sometimes I just want to be like, be original, and then like I see the trailers that we watched, and I'm like,
have we run out of original ideas?
A little bit more original.
Well,
It's not enough originality.
hopefully I can work on that and we can make some original stuff.
Yeah. But once you do, everyone's gonna be like, well, that's just like blah de blah.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta be original as we can.
And then
That's
someone
human
is
nature
gonna be
to
like, it's not
compare.
original enough.
I know.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is.
Yeah.
So, moving on to our first trailer for the night, which is The Voices.
You're out your league.
Shush. Yeah, shut up, cat.
Do you ever hear voices?
Not really.
Jerry.
Hey, Fiona.
In her eyes, you're a ridiculous peasant. Kill her, and you will discover what it feels like to be truly alive.
Don't run!
Mr. Whiskers, he makes me do bad things.
You totally stopped taking the pills, didn't you?
Totally.
So
This one does look original.
I think so. Yeah, I would go. I would go.
Can I make that claim?
Yeah,
you
I think
can.
I would go there too.
I would compare it to something else, but I would say this is
But it has an original take.
Yeah, it has an original take on it. Definitely.
And it's not like, the second one.
Right.
Or
Right.
the same title with
right.
I'm
That's-
rebooting it.
Right.
Right.
Now to compare it to something, just not maybe 3
week
weeks ago or a month ago, we watched Maniac.
That was like 1 week ago.
Was it 1 week ago?
Yes.
Sorry, I've got terrible time judgment.
Is there a song, Maniac?
Yeah, it's from She's a Maniac.
Yeah. Okay.
What movie was that?
I don't know.
Flashdance.
Flashdance.
okay.
Yes. I was gonna say. I'm like, I know it's not Footloose.
Yeah.
But thinking something else.
But anyway, Maniac starred Elijah Wood and
Other people.
Right.
yeah. But it was a unique movie. It was basically an entire movie from the perspective of the killer.
Yes.
It was Elijah Wood.
Yes.
And it was a
That
very
was based on
Spoilers. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. No, spoilers.
that was based on an actual serial killer, right?
I don't know. I know it was based off of a novel.
Oh,
But I
okay.
don't know if it was based off true accounts or not. They
Okay.
could have taken some stories from that.
Okay.
You know, I mean, they're like, to give a good example, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs are both based off the same guy.
Right.
Yet somehow they drew completely different comparisons to it.
Well, they basically took one fact from a killer.
Right.
And then said, "Oh, let me make Leatherface.
Right.
Oh, let me make Buffalo Bill."
Right, and expanded on it. Right. But so they may have taken some stuff from this character and put it into the movie, but it could have been based off anybody. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't say. I know it said based off of a short film,
Right.
but it didn't say based
Okay.
off of.
Right. Now, the movie was beautifully shot. I thought it was a phenomenal film just to look at. Some really intriguing things done with camera work and angles. And I thought Elijah Wood was very good. I actually really, really enjoyed it. In fact, I would highly recommend it. This is like the comedy version of Maniac. It really is. But, that being said, I'm really looking forward to seeing this. This looks hilarious. I really want to see it. So directing this, I'm going to butcher this name. We have Marjane Satrapi. Yeah.
Is that like when you tried to say Margot and you said Margot?
Yes. Margot. No, it's Marjane Satrapi.
I feel like before these, maybe you should like look up how to say the name. So
I've
you
tried.
Won't butcher
I've tried.
them.
I don't see anywhere phonetically to pronounce them. But anyway, she's actually been nominated for Best Animated Feature before for a film called Persepolis.
That was a really good movie.
I've actually never seen it.
It's a really good movie.
It sadly lost Best Animated Feature to Ratatouille back in 2007. Now Ratatouille I loved, but
yeah, but it was Persepolis was a lot darker. But it had a lot of it was very politically charged, but it was a good movie.
And she's also directed Chicken with Plums, which is another animated film. It was what this one Persepolis, was it foreign?
Yes,
I thought so. Yeah.
I think it was French. I want to say, but I'm not sure.
From what I could tell from the posters, it looked like it was a French-inspired film. But
Right.
anyway, in this cast, we have Ryan Reynolds, obviously. Yay. We have Anna Kendrick.
I like
we
that.
have Gemma.
Gemma.
Gemma, yes.
Gemma.
Gemma. It's
Yes.
Gemma.
Yes, Gemma.
For God's sake.
Like
I will
Did you know
butcher.
gem?
like a gem.
Like gem.
Gem is spelled with a J.
What about
it?
like a
I meant like a
ruby,
gem.
Oh, God.
Totally meant a gem.
Oh, Lordy. Anyway.
Gemstones begins
Yeah.
with a G.
Gemma Arterton, who was, you may know her from, remember Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she was the lead
Yeah, I
actress in
didn't
that.
see it.
I really want to see that.
It got mediocre reviews. Apparently it wasn't anything to hate. Everyone was like, you know.
Well, I want to see it like after having hammered down like 3 days or something like that.
You
I
watch it
don't
when
know.
you're drunk.
Yeah.
There are some movies that are better when you're drunk. I admit that. Some movies are worse when you're drunk. You just pick them apart. But I couldn't recognize anyone else on this cast offhand, but I do have to say, this trailer had me cracking up the entire time. Just the way that Ryan Reynolds, yeah, I am.
Elmer
He
Fudd?
wascally wabbit.
Yeah.
Apparently, tonight's theme is just me mispronouncing every damn name, and even the names I should be able to get right.
Isn't that the theme of every podcast?
No, usually it's supposed to be butchering any word.
Right.
Potato.
Yeah.
Or in your case, patur. I can't think of any other way to say potato.
That one's for Ben. Paturder. Anyway, so Ryan Reynolds and Anna Kendrick, like them both. Anna Kendrick, what was the last thing she was in?
Never mind.
The first thing that I can remember is Pitch Perfect.
Oh, I never saw Pitch Perfect.
But I can't remember anything else.
The only other thing I can recall her was the Twilight Saga.
She was in the Up in the Air.
Up in the Air,
Yeah, the one
right?
with George Clooney.
And Up in the Air was
She's in
very
a
good.
lot. Like her name is actually in a lot. She was in
Yeah.
that other trailer that we watched with Jennifer Aniston.
Cake.
Cake.
Right,
I was gonna say
Cake just
pie.
came out, and Cake got good reviews. Yeah, and she was also in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. She plays Scott's
Yeah.
brother.
All right. Brother?
She plays her
Scott's
brother?
Really?
Oh, her sister. Sorry, her sister.
I
His
didn't know.
sister.
That's very versatile.
A lot of gender
acting.
bending.
Scott
in that
Pilgrim is
movie.
her brother. Sorry. God, I'm in trouble tonight. But the story of this is that Ryan Reynolds is some sort of guy who has some sort of mental disorder. We don't know what, but he's on some sort of prescription. Finally goes out and meets a girl at work, Anna Kendrick. They seem to hit it off really well, despite the fact that he's very awkward and makes pretty obvious jokes, but she dies at them. And, sorry, bad pun. And, you quickly come to realize...
Speaking of bad jokes.
Apparently, you were dying at them.
Oh, you.
Anyway.
What have I done with my life?
Anyway, so you come to realize that Ryan Reynolds is hearing voices from his pets, not just like he talks to them and he pretends they talk back. No, they are actually talking back to him, and the pets are fucking hilarious. Yeah. I really like where this movie is going. It looks hilarious. I really hope it's good.
I mean, I'm totally excited about it.
Right. The only other thing I want to say about this is this movie technically debuted a year ago.
What?
It was released at a film festival last January, and only now is getting major distribution. So it's either been
that happens a lot.
well, there's usually a 6-7 month turnaround for a film getting picked up for distribution after it hit the independent circuit, but not
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods was a very unique case, but yeah, it did happen with Cabin in the Woods. Yeah. But I'm glad it got picked up, because otherwise we wouldn't have seen this. This looks really, really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to it.
We give it 2 thumbs way up for the trailer.
Are we going with thumbs now?
As opposed
I feel like you've been around this. I feel like you've been.
What did I miss? What? What the? Guys, I am lost. They have some sort of in joke. I'm so confused.
my side hurts.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on.
Oh god.
Move on to our next trailer, which is The Lazarus Effect.
Whoa, that's too much neural activity.
What the hell is going on here?
We're gonna duplicate the experiment.
3, 2, 1.
Zoe, she's been electrocuted. Clear? I'm not gonna lose her.
You're talking about bringing someone back from the dead.
No, no.
So, now that you both died from laughter, we can use the Lazarus Effect to bring you back.
Great. Happy day.
Yeah. So the director of this is David Gleb, and I think he's only had one movie under his belt, which is one I actually saw, which is Hero Dreams of Sushi. Now, I don't know if either of you have seen that, but it was a documentary.
I heard it was really good.
Yeah, it came out in 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. Was about a sushi chef.
Sushi chef.
Yes, I had to slow that one down. Retiring in Japan and then passing on his legacy to two of his sons, one of whom will take over his restaurant, another one goes on to become a chef somewhere else. Very
Now
good
I
movie.
want sushi.
Yeah, I really want some too. I don't know if there's anywhere open right now, sorry.
Yeah.
Besides like a buffet, but we don't want that. No, I know. But very good movie. But he's transitioned from that documentary to this. Yeah, very different genre, very different take. But in this, we have Evan Peters, who I really enjoy from American Horror Story, from X-Men Days of Futures Past, where he was Quicksilver. Really liking this guy. He's becoming very popular right now, and I'm happy for him. Also in this, we have Olivia Wilde, who you may know from Tron Legacy.
And House.
And House, right?
She was 13.
And I think she was also in Cowboys and Aliens.
Yes.
Yeah. I like her. I thought she was very good in Tron Legacy.
I like her.
Yeah. We also have Donald Glover, who you may know from Community.
Yep.
And right now he's also...
Or Childish Gambino.
Right. But he's also providing the voice for Ultimate Spider-Man on the Disney Network. Or Disney Channel, I should say. And if Paul were here, he'd say that if they reboot Spider-Man, this is the guy he'd want to get to play Spider-Man, this Donald Glover. And that'd be interesting. But as far as this is concerned, this...
Oh, also the guy who plays Olivia Wilde's husband is in The League.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Boyfriend, fiance, whatever.
I know, you always talk about The League, but I still haven't gotten into
it. Hilarious show. So basically, it's like full of comedians.
It is. It's full of comedians, right?
So I'm not, I don't know, I'm not super scared of it.
No, well, it's an interesting premise. It's the idea, but the premise, I'll say, kind of takes a little bit from The Reanimator. Would you say that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind was Pet Sematary.
Yep, Pet Sematary
Except
too.
You're not burying them in a special Native American burial ground. You're just
right. You're pumping some sort of chemical in, right?
Yeah.
But when they come back, they're not exactly the same.
Right.
And then in Reanimator, they come back, but they're the same, but they have very weird thoughts about them. Or sometimes they're sane, but
yeah, that was kind of
right.
Not very.
That wasn't explained that well.
Yeah.
Right. Some of them are just like zombies.
Yeah.
But then others actually still keep their mental capacity.
Yeah, like the doctor or the scientist guy.
More passion.
Yeah.
I do want to explain a couple things about this. I don't know if you saw in the trailer. Occasionally, you saw like a quick flash of the word John 11.
We did.
Totally didn't pay attention.
I guess you didn't pay attention.
Missed
I did.
that part.
I know.
Okay.
I didn't.
Occasionally in the trailer, the word John with the number 11 would appear next to it. That's
Like
actually a
the
reference.
Bible verse?
Yeah, it's a Bible verse. Reference to the story of Lazarus in the Bible. Quickly looked it up. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's a weird little reference. I mean,
was it like, like they cut and they flashed it? Or it was like in
one of
the
those
scene?
subliminal things.
It was a little subliminal thing. Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't like, tattooed on someone's arm as
No,
arm goes by.
No, it was like in between a flash of like in between a flash of light or a demonic like burst or something.
Okay.
You see the word just pop up randomly.
Right.
But long enough for you to see it.
Okay.
But,
okay. Except for us.
Except for
Yeah.
you, yeah.
We totally were not paying attention.
No, it's okay. It's all right. But as far as this is concerned, apparently when you come back from the dead, you are just demonic. Like you are possessed by something.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, she did say she was in hell, so maybe if you die and go to hell, that's what happens to you.
Right.
You don't know.
However, there's a loophole in that because all dogs go to heaven. So why would that dog be mentally unstable? Why would that dog come back from hell? It makes no sense.
You are correct.
Because the dog just went back to his feral state. And he just went.
He just went rah.
Yeah, and he tried to kill him.
Which, by the way, first off, If you just brought back a dog from the dead, why would you take it to your home? Why wouldn't you, like, keep it in the lab for observation for, I don't know, a year?
Unless it was your family pet and you're like, oh my god, I miss him.
Oh, no, and I get that. And I would want to bring it home, but I would still, like...
But oh my god, I miss him.
And maybe I'd stay at the lab, and, I'd keep him under close observation.
But then he would just whimper at you and look at you with those big puppy dog eyes, and you're like, oh my god, take me home.
I think so long as I was there or someone was there, he'd still be happy. I don't care where he cared.
You had to go home.
Oh, and you wouldn't care where he was. But no, I mean, come on now. Keep that thing somewhere else. Don't bring it home with you. But anyway, so Olivia Wilde, at some point, gets electrocuted. Something shorts out in this experiment where they're bringing animals back from the dead, and sure enough, they pump this chemical into her and bring her back to life. At which point she says... I went to hell and something came back with me.
Something like that.
She has some sort of supernatural powers now and is able to move things with her mind.
And then Childish Gambino dies.
Yeah.
That's in the trailer, people.
No, it's in the trailer. It's not spoilers. It's in the trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know he dies, but we assumed it. We see a bunch of blood pouring out and the whole thing's crushed. But
yeah, and we're wondering if he was the first one.
Yeah.
Probably was.
I mean, if they showed it in the trailer.
If they showed it in the trailer, he probably was the first one, right? But as far as looking forward to this, I don't know. I mean, it's a February horror film. A lot of them aren't that good. I mean, we occasionally get a good one, but usually right around this time of year when we start getting all the chick flicks coming out for Valentine's Day, we see one or two horror films. And
But
so
I don't think this will be one of the good ones.
this won't be one of the good ones. No.
I mean, usually sometimes when I watch horror trailers, even if the movie's not that good, I get kind of,
spooked.
Goosebumpy.
Right.
Yeah, but this one I'm just like, I don't take that seriously at all. I'm like, Olivia Wilde is not scary.
She's not.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous, but not scary.
And, there's some creepy imagery at certain parts, but I don't think this is going to be necessarily something that's going to have me on edge.
Yeah.
Like, it might be like, oh, that was some nice lighting. Oh, that was a little bit creepy. But, no, it's not going to be something that will be like, oh, my God, I'm on the edge of my seat. No.
Right.
We'll have to wait and see, but, no, I'm not looking forward to this one.
Neither.
Sorry.
No, I would say no.
No. But moving on to another horror trailer that's coming out, or another horror movie coming out, and that would be Unfriended.
What are you guys doing?
Did you guys buy your tickets 2 weeks ago like I asked you?
No.
Which seats are better, balcony or orchestra?
Hey, Mitch, who's your buddy?
Who is that?
I just tried to hang up on him.
Can we get rid of this person?
I don't know. Is this here the whole time?
It's just probably a glitch.
Well, the glitch just typed.
Who is doing this? This is Laura's account.
Who would hack into a dead girl's account?
Maybe it's Laura.
All right, everyone, hands up right now. Who's doing this?
Oh my god.
Are you sure this is a horror film or not a comedy?
You could call it a comedy. Now, a couple things about this.
Actually, I think it would be giving it too much credit if I called it a comedy.
It just exists. Now, originally, this movie was called Cybernatural.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet Moses.
Right.
I think that would have been done better as a comedy calling it that.
Cybernatural, right. Originally, the working title, and the working title that they had during shooting, but they changed it just before they finished shooting, was Offline. Now, I think that's actually a better title. Actually, that would have been a better than both of the two they have now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they changed that for some reason because apparently the studio thought that, or not the studio, but the directors and producers thought that Offline was just too vague. I'm like, but that would have been a nice title.
And Unfriended isn't
right?
vague.
I don't know.
I don't
know. Well, anyway.
Robble.
So, there's only a couple of notable people in this cast.
Really, there were notable people?
There's one, but not for anything that we know them from. It's Shelley Henning, and she's from Teen Wolf on MTV.
Oh, okay.
I think she's also been on some stuff on CW, but that's the only person who's on this cast who's been in anything that's recognizable.
Notable.
Right. And the director is Levin. God, these names. 11
or
Here,
11?
you try and pronounce that one. Third one.
Gabriazzi?
Gabriazzi? You think so?
I feel like it'd be tricky. Like it's not actually Z, it's like a J.
Right. So I don't know. I'm not even going to try it. This guy.
Gabracha? That's what I would say. Gabracha.
Gabracha. Okay. Levin
If it's like a Polish kind
Yeah. Levin Gabracha.
I couldn't tell.
Who's only ever directed really one movie, which was called Lucky Trouble, which was a foreign film, but it did have Mila Jovovich in it. So it had,
okay.
it had 1 star in it. So we have here a story of a woman, or I should say a young woman, a girl, who is out partying one night and gets too drunk or something. She gets roofied. We really don't know what. Ends up passing out somewhere, and then someone ends up filming her. Well, these kids from apparently her school record this and then post it online. Someone posts it. We don't know. 3 days later, the girl commits suicide. Wow, movie.
Or I don't know. Her hair seemed a lot longer in that
Seemed
shot.
very different, yes.
Yeah, like it didn't look
totally
like
not
her.
the same girl that was in the other one.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, for the sake of this trailer, this argument, we're going to say it's the same girl. So
Gonna
then
be like,
cut...
dun dun dun!
Right.
It's not her!
Yeah, cut to 1 year later.
it was her twin.
Yeah, it was her twin, maybe.
It's
Yeah.
some random girl that she got to commit suicide for her. That's kind of sad.
Well, cut to 1 year later, and these kids are having a big group Skype session.
Or it was just like a Photoshop thing that she posted online, like of her committing suicide, and I have that in hair quotes. Yeah.
You may have just figured out this movie.
Yeah.
This is a little bit like a mix of like I Know What You Did Last Summer and
Yeah.
and like I said, Pretty Little Liars.
Right.
That's the name. I think that's the name of that show.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
is,
on
yeah.
ABC Family, right? So these kids are having a big group Skype call, and they're talking about going to some concert or something. And
I think the fat kid dies first.
yeah, we're pretty sure the fat kid
Since
dies
there is
first.
no black kid.
Right, but there's one.
sad.
There's
I know.
one pictureless account that's on this group Skype call, and it's sure enough the girl's online name, the girl who died. who
But
committed
we don't
suicide
know
years
that because did they? Her name was Laura something, and
then it
the
was, like,
name
Billy
was
something.
Billy in numbers.
Right.
And they were like, "Oh my gosh, like she logged into her account." I'm like, this makes no sense.
Yeah,
Maybe it was
really
her last
doesn't.
name. Who knows?
Laura Billy?
No, it was like Laura D something because they said it
Yeah.
like Laura D blah blah
I don't know.
bullied and
All I'm saying is that they say it's her on this account. But anyway, what happens in this is that the girl, whoever this is on this account that's on this group call, says, "Don't hang up or I'll kill you." You know, to these kids, and says, "I want to know whoever posted the video, and if you don't tell me, I'm going to kill you one by one."
And at this point, I would have called the cops.
Right.
that would
Maybe.
make too much sense.
Right. Or what you do is okay, you talk to whoever is on the Skype call.
Yeah.
Pull out your cell phone on the other end. 911.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, listen to this.
Yeah. Or maybe after the fat kid dies, or like
Right.
at least after the first one, it's like, hey, something's not right here, guys.
Yeah.
Now, somehow, whoever this is able to control lights in their house and all the houses.
The
at
light
same
switch.
Have you ever seen that episode of SpongeBob? Where
Yes.
it's like the hash slinging slasher.
Time. Yes. Nosferatu. Oh, it's great.
Oh, it's the best. I love SpongeBob.
All right, so yeah, whoever this is able to control all the lights in the different houses, and then somehow
It's supposed to be the ghost.
Yeah, it's the ghost.
Cybernatural.
Cybernatural,
Come on,
yeah.
man.
They're
and
sending stuff through like the computer waves.
Yeah.
and somehow they make the fat kid, who for some reason has a blender in his room. Wow. Okay.
Blend off his own
Yeah,
hand.
blend off his own hand and then blend his chin. It's like, what the hell's going on here?
Really, it was his chin.
How did he get his chin inside the blender? Is it that long?
No, but from what I saw, he was like shoving his own head onto the blender.
It was like he was wearing it like a hat.
I don't know what he was doing, But
Again, but like that must have been a really big ass blender.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, he's a fat kid. He may have got a really big blender. I don't know. Maybe he broke the glass and then stuck his head right onto the blade. Who knows?
That makes more sense.
Okay.
Right. But yeah, you see whoever this is, playing clips of the other people. Like you see the girl cheating on her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And
I didn't do it. Wait.
Right. Oh,
I
you
didn't
swear?
do it.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. Good old Polar Express. But yeah, we've already said all the faults of this movie, up and down. It does not look.
And I'm pretty sure I cracked the movie.
Yeah.
You don't need to see it, people.
She's not really dead. It's her.
Yeah.
And now
she's just photoshopped it or something.
Yeah.
And,
Now she's just a.
But then how is she controlling all the lights to all the houses?
Because everyone has all their lights connected to their security things on their phone. Yeah. If you hack someone's phone, you could probably control their lights.
Yeah.
Interesting thought.
Yeah, we cracked the movie. You don't need to see it.
Now, not real sure how she makes him blender his hand off.
Right.
But we're working
She
on that.
probably was actually at the guy's house and pointed a gun at him and you better blend your hand now.
Yeah.
Because, that's the only death we actually saw. So she was actually just at one person's house.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, do we know that it all happened simultaneous, all the lights?
It looked like it in the clip.
I don't know. I mean...
Now, just to give you a little bit more background that isn't explained in this trailer, and you're probably going to hate it for it even, going this way. But in the synopsis that was given online, it says that this girl was actually bullying these 6 people. These exact 6 people.
No.
Yeah, and then they're getting revenge on her, and someone posted this clip to get revenge on the bully.
I want to kill somebody.
Right.
There is no hope for the human race!
I thought we lost her, but she came back.
Anyway.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I can't.
Look,
I just can't.
If I could say one positive thing about this movie, it's that when it was originally shot, it wasn't shot by Universal or MTV. This was picked up by those studios. This was shot for dirt cheap. This was a filmmaker and a group of filmmakers who had no money and shot what they could with what they have.
Okay.
And I get that. We
can sympathize.
And I can sympathize with that. For someone who has no money for his films, you make what you can.
But it shouldn't have been picked up. Go.
That doesn't excuse bad writing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it shouldn't have been picked up because of the bad writing.
Yeah, it's the writing that's Universal were haha, we're denied.
Exactly. Exactly.
The idea of the Skype call has been done before. And I like what this movie's trying to do with that. Now, it was done better in a movie called VHS. In VHS, they had a whole sequence where it was 2 people talking to each other on a video call.
Oh, with the
girl and the ghost
husband,
in her room,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, or a boyfriend or something. We don't know. I think it was a friend.
He was away.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
There are ghosts in her room, and you see them picked up on her camera, and it's freaky, and it's really well done. And I wish this could have taken a little bit from that. Now I'm sure they'd say, "Oh, you're stealing right off of VHS," but whatever. It was done well in that. And if you have no budget, I get that you do what you can. You record Skype calls. Okay, fine, do what you can.
That's fine, yeah, but you don't.
You have to write it.
You can work a Skype call into a better story.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I agree.
And the whole synopsis thing that you just gave, that's inexcusable to basically you're justifying all types of bullying out there, and that's inexcusable.
Right.
I don't care what medium it is, that's just not cool.
Right.
It doesn't matter what it is, just no.
Right. Now, I'm sure the filmmakers would say, "Oh, we're not justifying bullying. These were kids who are getting revenge for being bullied."
By bullying.
By bullying. Because, an eye for an eye.
It's the bullying.
Yeah,
So they're, yeah.
Yeah, no. Just
Yeah.
no. Just no.
Yeah, before we get any angrier, we're going to move on to the next trailer, which is Serena.
How much is yours?
Ours. I sure would like to know what you think of our little operation.
I think you've taken 9 months to do about 6 months' work.
Did you find a wife or a partner?
I'm afraid your stocks are no longer sufficient collateral. Our future, everything that we talked about, we will lose it.
We promised to tell each other everything.
I didn't want to frighten you.
I'm not that kind of woman.
This.
I'm confused.
Now, it's okay that you're confused, because this is a very confused movie.
Okay, I was like, is it a love story? Is it a entrepreneur
movie?
story?
Is it a very confusing movie or a confused movie? Like itself is confused.
Itself is confused. It doesn't know.
Like Tommy the Room.
Yes.
Was confused about what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Wow, if we're comparing this to The Room,
Right.
I don't know where this is going.
You know what? That's not entirely unwarranted, and I'm going to explain why.
Wow, that's scary.
You're tearing
Now,
me apart, Jennifer Lawrence.
let's go on a ride. We're going to go back to March of 2012. Okay? This script was picked up by Darren Aronofsky, who is a fantastic director. He's directed The Fountain, The Wrestler, Black Swan, all movies I've really liked. Loved The Wrestler and loved Black Swan. Recently, he did something else. I forget what it was. He did something else recently. But anyway, really good director. And the lead for this was supposed to be Angelina Jolie. And she had been picked up for it. However,
to play Jennifer Lawrence's role?
Yes.
Lead? Okay.
Yeah. However, very, very early on in production, they both left. Brought in to replace him was a director called Suzanne Bier. And she is primarily just a foreign director. She's directed only Danish films. Now, she has about 12 or 13 under her belt, but she's never done an American film before. Or an English film, I should say.
Okay.
And then they replaced Angelina Jolie with, obviously, Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
Who at that point, I think, had just come off winning her Oscar.
Okay.
I think. I could be wrong, but it was probably around the same time.
Around there.
Right. At that time, they hadn't cast a lead for her other romantic, for the other romantic part, for the male lead. And Jennifer Lawrence said, hey, would you mind casting Bradley Cooper for it? Because we had a lot of chemistry and Silver Linings Playbook, and I think he'd be great in this. So, sure enough, through her recommendation, they just put him in this movie. Now, this is now the third movie they've been in together.
What's...
The other one was American Hustle, but they weren't romantic
together.
No.
Right.
But this is the second time now that they're playing romantic leads with each other. Right. And then filming finished in May of 2012. Nearly 3 years ago is when this film wrapped. For 18 months, the director, the studio, and the editors tried to finish this in post-production. 18 months for post-production. This wasn't because they had to do reshoots or because there was any particular problem with the post-production. It just took them that long to edit this.
So it doesn't seem like there's like,
a
they
lot
would have
of
to do like CG or
Yeah.
something.
Right.
Like a lot of editing required.
Yeah, exactly. And people are really, really worried that it took that long because it tells me that every edit they made was bad. Because every time they'd pump something out, they're like, this is god-awful. So they weren't able to settle for anything. So they had to keep re-editing the film over and over to try and salvage something out of it. And now, it's nearly 3 years later. It was just released at a few independent film festivals. I think it was October of last year. Technically, this is a 2014 release. It would be up for Oscars this year, but...
If it were good?
I was just going to say that.
Now... all that in mind, Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic have this really, really, really low. This is apparently, going to be a very bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like I was saying, it doesn't know what kind of movie it is. Because even at the end, it seems like it's, like, a thriller or, like, not horror per se, but, like,
What
mystery.
happens?
Like, oh, you know...
Like,
Right.
Mist in the woods and people are dying and
Right.
I don't know. It just seems like
I feel like it also wasn't very memorable. Like,
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember what you said. Like, we had just watched these trailers, and I seriously don't remember what you're describing.
Right. And that's absolutely the case. The movie doesn't know what it wants to be. Not only that, but it's like, can you tell me in one sentence what this movie is about?
Jennifer Lawrence!
Yeah, it's about Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper. That's it.
Well,
You
no,
know?
probably just Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah,
Really.
well, it's about them
Yeah,
out
right?
in some woodsy area, and he's some sort of forest baron. We don't know what the hell he does.
Yeah, but
like
I'm
he's
not
a
sure if it's,
logger.
like, railroad?
Riding horses and falcons. I remember the falcon.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Not sure what that was about, but it was
No.
cool.
Yeah, it was. Like Jennifer Lawrence with a falcon. I'm digging that.
And from all accounts, the performances of Lawrence and Cooper are very good. But that's the only thing going for this movie. Everything else is terrible. Now, again, we have not seen this. This is just the early press releases, the early critiques. But having it be in production for that long, or post-production for that long, after nearly 3 years in development, that's scary.
Yeah.
Very, very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that, I still don't 100% buy Jennifer Lawrence as an adult.
You had mentioned that.
It's just she has a baby face, and I love her, and I think she's great.
And that might be part of the fact that this was made 3 years ago. And she was younger. I mean,
Yeah,
she hasn't
was.
changed much in 3 years.
Right.
But if you were to film it now, maybe she would have matured a little bit.
Right.
Maybe she could pull off this part a little better.
Yeah.
Back then, she was still a teenager.
Because
You know.
I mean, even in American Hustle and Silver Linings Playbook, I mean, she still had that baby face, and I know that that's her face or whatever, and it's not a big deal, but. Her as Katniss, her playing a teenager, her playing early 20s, that makes sense. I feel like they're trying to pump her up and make her, look like she's 30.
Right.
Like it's like that scene from Mockingjay, actually,
Right.
when the security guy was just like, take that makeup off her. She's still, she's still a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
You're making her look like she's 30.
Right.
And I think that's what people are trying to do to her, and not to say that she can't pull it off in terms of her acting skills or anything like that.
Well, I think that's
Right.
part of it. She's acting beyond her age.
Yes.
So they're making her look like she's acting the age she's trying to portray.
Right.
Which I get, but just have her be herself.
Yeah.
You know?
and it's not, I mean, I think that she's got a long career ahead of her where she can play these roles maybe a couple of years down the line.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it's the roles that she's decided to take, because I'm sure she's getting a lot of offers. But I think she's trying to mature herself a little bit too quickly in the industry too. And
Yeah, I would agree
So
with
you
that.
mean like it's just the way she looks? She doesn't look like she's that old, or you think she can't?
like I
Not
think
that she can't play someone that old, but
she can't pull it off. Like I think
A little bit of
maybe
both?
I think a little bit of both, because I don't want to I don't want to say because she looks the way she does therefore she can't play these roles, because I think
Right.
that's unfair.
Right.
But
But I mean, like you could always do like a little bit of aged makeup,
right.
which they didn't really. They just put makeup on her.
Right, yeah.
They didn't try to like age her face in any way.
and I feel like the characters that she's played have a lot more. Like, it's one of those things where I can't explain it. It's like when you look into someone's eyes, oh, they've seen shit. Like, I feel like, she doesn't have that, right? Like,
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
right? Like, you look at Angelina Jolie, even when she was younger, like, she's,
Yeah.
like, she still had that different air to her.
Right.
And I think this comes down to casting, right? It's not that I don't think Jennifer Lawrence can't get roles outside of this, because I think she can. It's just I'm not so sure the casting choices necessarily are.
I would say give it time.
Yeah.
Give it a little bit of time. That's
Yeah.
all I can say. I think she can play a vast amount of parts now.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But I think you're absolutely right. It's the era of you want someone who looks like they've been around enough to know how to do this. And not saying that she couldn't do this.
Right.
But just
Like
the appearance of it.
Yeah,
Right.
like do this as in the character, not the actor. Like
Right.
not the actress.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like this character in this whatever this movie story is, like she's supposed to be someone who knows a lot about like business, whatever business they're in.
Or just isn't afraid of business and just is
Right.
able to just put it bluntly and go right at it.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And and I think when you brought up Angelina Jolie, I'm just like, that would have made sense. Like
That would have been good
Yeah.
casting.
that
right.
would have been great. Like I think she would have done a great job with that. And so kind of just seeing Jennifer Lawrence in that role, I'm just like, I just felt slightly uncomfortable. Maybe like it just felt like it was not the right casting choice. That's all.
Right.
And I would agree with that. So, I mean, we have nothing really else to say about it. I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty bad movie. You have anything else to say?
I was just gonna say people mysteriously die in whatever logging accidents.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's very strange.
And Doctor what's his face is in it. The guy from Captain America.
Oh yeah.
Zoloft.
Zoloft. Dr. Zoloft. Greatest doctor name ever.
That's what Robin calls Olaf.
Doctor, I have a
Frozen.
pain in my Zoloft.
Zoloft is what Robin calls Olaf from Frozen.
Oh.
Because that's what he does.
Hello,
but-
I am Zoloft.
Yeah, Zoloft.
And I like warm hugs.
Yeah, but
and keeping you knocked up.
What's his name?
Because I have depression.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to our next trailer, which is Run All Night.
It's gotta be 15 years since I've been in here. Place looks different.
All the old places look different now. I'm the only one ever cared about you. And all of that ended an hour ago when you killed my son.
I pulled the trigger. I killed Daddy. I had to. He was gonna shoot Michael. I'm here asking for my son's life, Sean. He's a good kid. He's got a family. He don't deserve this.
You know this has to end. I'm coming after your boy with everything I got. And when it's done, and it will be done, then I'll let you die.
Oh, sorry.
Away from this movie.
Well done.
This is how I would like to describe this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's Taken with a son, except it's not even the good Taken. It's not even the first Taken. It's like the second or the third Taken.
Right.
With the son
By
instead
the way,
of the daughter.
Taken 3 was apparently god-awful.
Oh my god, I saw it!
You did?
And I was either laughing or sleeping in that movie, so...
Well, there you go. As far as this is concerned, yeah, I agree. It's almost like they combined the plot lines to Taken and A Good Day to Die Hard.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
The one with the son. And
That was
that's
also
not a good
bad.
thing, because A Good Day to Die Hard was terrible.
Even Live Free or Die Hard was actually watchable and decent, but A Good Day to Die Hard was not.
Yeah. In this, we mentioned Liam Neeson, obviously, because of his role in Taken.
Mhm.
We also have Joel Kinnaman, I think is pronounced his name. Joel Kinnaman. Now, he was recently in the RoboCop reboot.
Oh,
He played RoboCop. And
Did not know that.
He played Murphy, and was apparently mediocre. It upset a lot of fans just because basically they felt the need to up the ante on everything. It's kind of like how in the first one he fought one T-88, and this one he has to fight 3. You know, it's like they just have to keep upping the ante on everything.
I feel like, though, what remake doesn't make people angry?
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah, see? Like every remake, that is what they do. They just make them and then make you watch them and then make you angry.
Are you still talking about Run Like Hell or what the hell is it called?
No,
we went off on a tangent. Sorry. Big tangent. Well, we're back on Run Like Hell.
Is that really what it's called?
Yeah.
Well,
You just call it... Oh, no. It's
No.
called...
Run All Night. That's it.
You got me confused on it now. No. The movie's called Run All Night.
I
right.
think I prefer Run Like Hell.
That would have been better. Run
Yeah.
Like Hell. But, anyway, we were talking
Hear
about...
that, studios? Run Like Hell.
Yeah. We also have in this Ed Harris. Now, Ed Harris I love.
I love Ed Harris.
Was this supposed to be like 2 like Irish gangs in like Boston or something? Is that why they
No,
were playing
I think
like
Ed
Danny
Harris...
Boy?
I'm pretty sure Ed Harris was supposed to be some sort of, like, mobster or, like
Irish
head hitman.
I think he was an Irish mob guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were meeting in an Irish pub.
Was it an Irish pub?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I
Well-
think so. I think you're right, but
Okay.
But Ed Harris, of course, you know, Apollo 13, The Rock. Gosh,
oh, that movie! Oh my God, that movie!
what? The Rock?
Yeah.
Oh, I
love
love The
that
Rock.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I-
that was just me being.
No, that's one of the few Michael Bay movies I love.
I love that movie.
The Truman Show. Recently he was actually in Snowpiercer. I haven't seen Snowpiercer.
I need to see that.
Yeah.
I really want to see that. He was a national treasure too.
I
I actually enjoyed that movie.
wasn't a big fan of National Treasure movies, but
I was. I love them. Yay!
yeah.
Air five. Woo!
Ed Harris, I really like the guy. And I don't know if you know this, a funny little fact. Have you ever seen Gravity?
No.
Well, in Gravity, he plays Mission Control, which was exactly his same role in Apollo 13.
Interesting.
Yeah, a little callback to Apollo 13 in Gravity.
Pretty sure I pointed that out to you.
I'm pretty sure I recognized it myself. Did you? Well, you might have pointed it out to me, but I'm pretty sure I knew it.
Are we going to have to throw down?
But you hated Gravity.
Oh my God, I hated it.
I didn't see it.
But you liked that little reference, though.
Yeah, sure. You could say that.
Recently, there's been a lot of movies that I loved that Kim absolutely hated.
Oh, you liked it and she didn't?
Well, I wasn't a huge fan of Gravity. I thought visually it was stunning. But I understand why she hated it. It was...
Because it was Sandra Bullock breathing for 90 minutes.
Right. Anyway, getting on to Run Like Hell.
Oh, right, that's what we were talking about.
Run All Night. So the director of this is... God, you guys are going to have to start reading these names for me. His last name is Colette Serra. But it's 2 last names. And his first name is Jaume.
Jaume?
Yeah, Jaume?
Jaume?
I guess Jaume. Jaume Colette Serra. Who has directed House of Wax, the remake, which was fucking garbage.
With Paris Hilton?
Yes, the Paris Hilton remake. Ugh.
That was the best movie ever!
Because she died.
As well as Orphan, which came out...
so another horror movie?
Yeah, it was a horror film. And then Nonstop, which just came out recently, I think. Do you remember Nonstop?
Oh, yeah.
Is that with Liam Neeson, with him like being a U.S. Marshal on a plane? And
Yeah, that looked so dumb.
Yeah. As far as this is concerned, yeah, it's about Liam Neeson being like some sort of retired hitman whose son is in some sort of trouble, and then another hitman's son goes to make the hit. Liam Neeson shoots the other hitman's son, and now...
It's like a bad Gangs of New York.
Right. Set in present times.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the 2 older hitmen are like yelling at each other, like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your family."
They were calmly telling each other that.
Mm-hmm. Like, "I'm gonna kill your family. I'm gonna kill your son's family." And then
dishonor on you.
Yeah,
dishonor on your cow.
Real nice. Oh, that second Mulan reference. But yeah, so it's basically just Liam Neeson telling his son, "Listen to me, we have to run all night. And now we have to
run like hell. We have to run like hell.
And avoid being knocked off, as well as your family and anyone else we know." Because
I think the only reason why I would see this movie is I would love to have them actually say "run like hell" in it. That would make like my day.
Like, oh, they said it.
I'm just like, there we go.
Now, a couple things about this. First off, am I the only one who thinks that Liam Neeson is just done with these parts? Like, he has done so many action films recently, Nonstop being one of them. Well, I wouldn't really call it action, but it's more, suspense thriller oriented, where he's playing.
Just doing everything like someone's trying to hurt someone in your family.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you have to react in some way.
Right.
And that's like all he's doing.
Yeah. But also like the tough guy who's seen some shit and then has to be like really violent. The Gray is a good example.
Yeah.
Like, and he has to keep doing these roles where he has to be really physical.
Walk Among the Tombstones.
Walk Among the Tombstones, another example, right?
Like, seen any of these movies?
This guy,
I haven't either. Not a one.
Liam Neeson is now 62. Like, I mean, it's not old.
Don't be ageist.
No, I'm not ageist, but if he wants the parts, fine. But I'm like, you saw Taken 3.
Oh my god.
Is it like, does it seem like he's still keeping up with it? Or is it almost like it looks like he's done with these movies?
He's done with these movies.
Right, he's done. But Run All Night looks like a knockoff of Taken, doesn't it?
Yes.
So
again, not the first Taken, but either the second or the third Taken.
Right. So it's just me. It's like, move on.
But again, is he getting offered these roles and he's just like, well, I'm gonna get paid, so
right, it's work, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, dude, I feel like saying to him, dude, you're not Qui-Gon anymore. Like just enough.
Not even that. I just mean like,
I think
not the
people
whole
are,
age thing, but just like
people are just tired of him playing that same role over and over and over again.
I mean, this is like the 5th movie in 1 year.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, at least Denzel spaces them out.
Right.
It's just like one every year.
Right.
So it's just like, oh, okay, I need my Denzel. I'm gonna go into the movies and see this one now. But like,
people are getting oversaturated. There's too much Neeson in the market. It's being flooded.
yeah.
But yeah, as far as this, yeah, I couldn't care less about this movie.
Yep.
I
Same.
do not plan on seeing it. It looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue. Oh, and I have to say, in the trailer, I am so sick and tired of the
Juxtaposition.
There you go. I couldn't get that word out. I'm so sick of that with the action and the explosions and the violence with some soft lyrical song in front of it.
Yeah.
And this, oh, Danny boy, the pipes, shut up.
And I feel
Oh,
like
they do that in so many trailers now, and I'm sick of it.
And on top of that, I feel like that was kind of not the right song choice.
Absolutely not.
That was kind of offensive.
Right. And, like, so many trailers are doing that now. It's like the new Inception bass tone.
You were going to say that. I knew you were going to say
But it's being overused. It really is. Like, I remember the first time it really happened, and it was, well, the first time I recall, was the Purge trailer, when they had America the Beautiful playing softly with all the violence.
Uh-huh.
And then they did the same thing in Purge Anarchy.
I don't know. I feel like they do it. They've been doing it forever, though.
But it's become far more popular recently.
Was it just because his son's name was Danny or something?
Possibly.
Because I'm just like, that's just because.
No, his son's name was Michael.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah, his son's name was Michael. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, they definitely shouldn't have done that.
Right. Moving on to our next trailer, which is Spy.
We've intercepted chatter that Reyna Boyanov knows where that nuke is. She knows the identity of all our agents. We need someone to find the bomb without being detected, but it can't be any of you. We need someone invisible.
I'll do it.
Okay. Thanks, lunch lady.
I'm serious.
Don't let me down, Cooper.
I will not. I will let you up.
Stop talking.
I will let you up.
We're giving you a new identity. You will no longer be Susan Cooper. You're Penny Morgan, divorced housewife from Iowa.
It's a confidence builder.
Oh my gosh!
And Karen squeeze.
As soon as I saw the trailer, I could not stop laughing. I found it super amusing, and I like dumb movies, okay? Don't judge me, but I like movies.
Now let me say this. Do you think this will be a dumb movie?
Like, but like, my definition of a dumb movie is that one where you don't have to go in and think.
And I get that. It's not necessarily something that's bad in quality, just something that is
like lost in translation.
Right. It's not something that requires you to
use my brain.
No, I wasn't going to say use your brain. I think you should be using your brain in every movie. But to put it something, it's not God, I even hate saying it. Thought-provoking or art house. I mean, right. I wouldn't say anything that is out right now I would call art house. I even hate using that word, art house. But something that is
so much.
Art house.
I just, that term just irks me. I could get a whole tangent about that, but I won't.
It's like I think it'll be like a 22 Jump Street because I haven't seen the first one to compare.
Yes.
I think it'll be funny.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of
my
fun.
point on that is, you know, you can sit there and say, oh, well, you know, I can turn off my brain and enjoy it. But my whole thing is, I leave my brain on and I can still enjoy it. It's something that you can just sit back and have fun.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
just a turn of phrase. That's not
like I don't think that it's actually
saying,
like a dumb
let me flip my
movie.
switch.
Right.
Like
I mean, because like I feel like 22 Jump Street was a dumb movie, but I feel like it did so many good things in it where you're constantly going like, oh, like because to get laughs, you also have to be smart about it.
And that's my point. Even with something that is you could consider lowbrow, can still be done right if written well. And you still have to be smart to write that comedy.
Yeah.
And that's why I always like to strive at with that. It's like, oh, people get, you know, going with a movie like Dumb and Dumber 2, which got panned. They're like, oh, well, it was Dumb and Dumber 2. What did you expect? I expect it to be competent. I expect you to know how to do your job and write it well. Because even if you don't know, that it's a dumb movie, or if it's just turn off your brain, there is an art to doing that and making that well.
Right.
And just like you said, even with this, even if it's going to be a dumb movie, you have to be able to write it well.
Yes.
And we'll see with that.
Yeah, and by dumb movie, I don't mean stupid.
Oh no, I get
that's what it is. Like, it's something that I can go in and have fun with it and enjoy.
But it still has to be written.
Well, yeah.
Right. But anyway, so directing this, we have Paul Feig, who of course we just talked about a little while ago, director of Bridesmaids, The Heat, and of course the upcoming Ghostbusters movie now. And I have to say now, his career is now defined by Melissa McCarthy. Everything
They're making money off of each other.
Yeah.
It's a good partnership.
Hey, it's like Johnny Depp
and Tim Burton.
And I was going to say that. I was going to say there are directors who do latch on to a particular actor or actress for the majority of their career. And that's fine. So long as you give them different roles to play. And I will say, as far as this...
Johnny Depp and Tim Burton? Really?
No, they don't. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like that pairing.
That doesn't work anymore.
No. I've hated that pairing for like the last 5 or 6 years. They don't do anything original anymore. This looks different.
It does.
It's not the same as Bridesmaids or Tammy. Now, Tammy was a different director. That was her husband, Ben Falcone, I think is what his name is. And his career is now defined by her too. Everything that he's directed, she's in, which was Identity Thief and Tammy, which were apparently both pretty bad. In this, we finally have a character for her, which I think is not her typical character. It's not...
Defined by fat jokes?
Yeah, it's not defined by fat jokes. Now, you could construe that whole motorcycle scene as a fat joke, but...
I don't think it is.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think it was. I think it's just her being clumsy and not being ready for the field.
Right.
Yeah, you don't know how to drive
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But in everything else she's been in, there's been fat jokes.
Yeah.
And I think for the first time we're looking at this and she's playing a character.
Yes.
I'm like, thank you.
Yes.
For the love of God, thank you.
Yes.
Like, I'm so happy.
And so even with that, I feel like, the Ghostbusters movie might actually look up.
And I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to with the Ghostbusters movie. We will get Ecto Cooler again, and I want some Ecto Cooler. Do you know what Ecto?
Spicy.
It's a drink. And it was on sale for years. It's a green
Kids
drink.
had it in their lunches.
Yeah, everyone wanted Ecto Cooler in their lunches, and I loved it. I want my Ecto Cooler back. Anyway, so she is obviously in this and playing a role that, I'm happy to say looks like it's different. We don't know yet, but it looks like it's different. We also have Jude Law.
Yeah, that was such a funny scene.
That was a very funny scene.
I was just like, I cracked up laughing when he sneezed, and then
She's cracking up already just thinking about it.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that was funny. But I do have to say, even in that one scene when he was talking, you could tell his American accent isn't that good.
Yeah, but that's okay.
It's I'll get over. I'm like, oh, Jude.
Yeah, I know. It's not as bad as David Tennant's American accent. Oh my god.
Which, by the way, we're gonna hear that soon. Did you hear about that?
I did. I'm kind of sad about it. The purple.
Yeah,
man
he's been
thing.
cast in Agent Carter. It's a Marvel spin-off, Agent Carter.
Nothing to me.
Yeah,
okay.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It is. It's a spin-off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah.
And the original, I know you've never seen Captain America, but he had a love interest who was Agent Carter, and she now has a television show. Well, in that, David Tennant is going to be playing a guy called the Purple Man. So he's going to be American, and his American accent
is so bad. Because there's this TV show called Broadchurch, which was British. It's a British, I think, BBC show, a detective show, and then they made a remake of it called Grace Point for American audiences, and David Tennant basically plays the same character in both, and they literally just did
like scene for scene
remake.
That's lazy.
And except it was American and British. In the British one, he kept his original Scottish accent and everything, and that was good and sexy, and all the makings of a good TV show. And then you go to Grace Point.
Karen. It's all the makings of a happy
Karen. and then you go to Grace Point, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god, no.
It's like Dick Van Dyke doing his English accent.
And it's just not good, David Tennant. Please get an accent coach or something before you star on Agent Carter, because my heart would break again. So
again, I know nothing about Purple Man or anything to do with the origins of Captain America, so who knows?
maybe he's gonna be Scottish.
Maybe, who knows?
Or British, or just not American. Please.
But anyway, so Jude Law's in this, and I like Jude Law.
I
Happy
do
he's in
too.
this. We also have Rose Byrne,
Yep.
who she's been in a lot recently. She's been doing a ton of work. I mean, most notably it's okay. Most notably, she's been in It's Contagious. Oh God, it's spreading. If I yawn now, no, I'm holding it back. Most recently, she was in the Insidious franchise. You know, she has the third one coming out for that. She was in X-Men First Class, where she played Moira McTaggart, which I thought she was actually good as that role. And she was she was in Neighbors recently.
Mm-hmm.
It was with Seth Rogen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't dislike her. I think she's a decent actress, but you know, a lot of her roles seem the same part. But here, she's playing some sort of villainous spy. We don't really see her talking or anything, but she is the main antagonist in this. And also, we have Jason Statham in this.
Jason Statham. I like him.
Well, who doesn't like Jason Statham?
That's true. You weird if you don't.
Yeah. Also, you don't see him in this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say, also in this, not in the trailer, but 50 Cent as himself. Yeah.
Okay. See where that goes.
Yeah, interesting. So.
Also Allison Janney.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Who is Allison Janney?
Is it Janney?
Janney. From The West Wing.
She's been in a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Not like anything like major, but
I never watched too much of The West Wing. That's why I
she
didn't
was
recognize
also
her.
in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Never saw it.
She was?
Yeah, she was the counselor. She was the guidance counselor who was writing like an erotic novel on her computer.
I don't remember that.
And she's in this new TV show called Moms with Anna Faris now.
Yeah.
But she's been in a lot of things. I like her.
So, about this, we have what is the CIA, you know, and you have a woman working in the CIA who's basically just...
Oh, and what's her face? Sorry. The one who's going to play Melissa McCarthy's friend.
Oh, I know, you said you'd recognized her, but I don't know who that is.
Hold on, just... Miranda Hart.
Miranda Hart. Don't know her.
Miranda. She plays... she's a famous British comedian. And she has her own show called Miranda. And she was actually on the episode of Graham Norton when Benedict Cumberbatch could not pronounce penguins.
You bringing it back to Cumberbatch.
No, but that's where you would have seen her.
Okay.
She was the one who, like, where he talked to her. Like, she was sitting next to him.
Right.
Okay.
Clip, so.
All right. Well,
We don't watch that clip 5 times a day like other people in this room might.
What?
So I'm not really sure I remember what she
I don't
looks
watch
like.
it. I don't watch it 5 times a day.
It's more like 10.
Don't insult me. 7. Anyway, so she plays her friend.
Yes.
And, so we have this woman who's basically a secretary or receptionist of some sort who is still working with spies, but not,
Or like a clerk.
A clerk, yeah.
Paper pusher.
It seemed like since she was listening in, it seemed like maybe she was like typing up
notes,
transcribing things,
right? Or maybe
that
passing
was going
along
on.
instructions or something. We don't know,
right.
But when it's found out that whoever this villainess is, this other spy, knows who all the spies are for the CIA, they need someone who isn't a spy. And sure enough, Melissa McCarthy steps up to play the role. And I like the persona they give to her. What was like, you know, the divorcee from Wisconsin or something like that.
Right.
I was like, nice.
She has like she's like turns in like the cat lady.
Right.
Yeah.
She's a cat lady, pretty much.
Hilarious.
And again, I don't hate Melissa McCarthy. I know I give her a bad rap, but I don't hate her. I just want her to receive some good roles, and I hope this is finally one.
Yeah.
It looks like it's different. It looks like they're not relying on fat jokes. It looks like they're actually having her tell jokes, because for the most part, when I see her in films, it's not that we're laughing with her, it's we're laughing at her. It's the stuff that is, happening to her that we're laughing at.
Right.
Finally, she has jokes in this. I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad we can laugh with her for once, So, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but I hope it is good.
I have my hopes up for this one. I mean, I laughed really hard at the trailer. So, if it's not good, I'm going to be super sad.
Yeah. It's coming out at a prime time of year. It comes out in late May, that's meaty season. That's right around Memorial Day. That's up there with the blockbusters. So they're banking on this. They're hoping it's going to do well.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, you also have Jude Law and Jason. And
there'll be a draw too.
So.
Yeah, it's promising. I'll just say that it looks promising. It could go wrong in a lot of ways, but we'll have to see some more trailers or TV spots for it. Yeah. And finally, our last trailer for the night, which just debuted recently, which is Fantastic Four.
How did we get this far? Human beings have an immeasurable desire to discover, to invent, to build. Our future depends on us furthering these ideas. A responsibility that rests on the shoulders of generations to come.
First thing I have to say, though, in this trailer, they say, from the studio that brought you X-Men Days of Futures Past. I want to stress this. They don't say from the director, from even the producer, or the writers, from the studio that brought you X-Men Days of Futures Past.
Right, so that could mean anything.
This studio's brought us a lot of shit. And if you're talking about just the Marvel side of 20th Century Fox, okay, let's count it up. The original Fantastic Four series, which was garbage, X-Men 3, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Daredevil, Elektra. I could keep going on. This studio is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what? Don't sit there and say, oh, from the studio that brought you this really good movie.
Well, that's the only thing they can say.
Because everything else associated with this movie looks like it's going to be pretty bad. Yeah. Starting off, I have to say that the director is a good one. He hasn't directed much, but he's a good one. It's Josh Trank, and he directed Chronicle. Did you ever see Chronicle?
No.
Phenomenal movie. That's one of the few movies that Paul and I think, is like, if you're going to have a
that you guys actually agree on?
Oh, no, we agree on some movies, but it was like a good superhero origin story without it ever saying the word superhero. It was good. It was very good. Notes of Akira in it and, a lot of references to other stuff. Phenomenal. Loved it. He's directing this, and there are some cast members from that who are coming back in this. Most notably, Michael B. Jordan, who was in Chronicle, and who has also been in Fruitvale Station. He was also in, what else he's been in recently? Oh, That Awkward Moment. But he is going to be playing Johnny Storm.
Space Jam?
What?
That was not that same Michael Jordan.
I know.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah, right over my head. Sorry.
You're not the only one who can make bad jokes.
No, I just mastered the art of it. Anyway,
I felt like that was a pretty bad joke. So yeah. I got silence.
She got the crickets.
I totally did, and it went right over your head. So I'm pretty sure you're not the only one who's mastered it.
Oh God. Anyway, Michael B. Jordan has been doing great work recently. I didn't see Fruitvale Station, but apparently it was very, very good. Now, also in this, we have playing Reed Richards is Miles Teller. Now, he was recently in the Divergent series, and he was also in That Awkward Moment with Michael B. Jordan. We also have Kate Mara playing Susan Storm. She was in 127 Hours, as well as Transcendence.
She was in American Horror Story.
Was she?
I'm pretty sure if you're talking about the girl that I think you're talking about in the trailer.
Oh,
Pretty sure she played in the first season Dylan McDermott's lover, tryst thing. I don't know.
Oh, in the first episode? Oh no, the one that keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't recognize her. Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
No,
you do like to make things up, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, she likes to implant memories.
No,
I do. I do
right.
this to people. I
Yeah,
talk
she-
to them and make them think that things actually happen.
Yeah,
when
she
they never
implants
really
people.
did.
She implants memories into people's heads. She's done that to me on multiple occasions.
That could be right. I don't know, but no. Okay, good.
So, listeners, beware.
It's a special talent of mine.
And also,
no need for concern.
Yeah, the goddess of gore is implanting memories into
she's
your head.
inceptioning your mind as we speak. So
You should be scared.
We also have Jamie Bell as Ben Grimm, who is the Thing. He was in Jumper and Man on a Ledge. Really, the only notable things he's been in. Now, the only thing you can say about him.
Does
Jamie
he look
Bell?
like
Wait.
Sam Worthington, kind of?
Wait, Jamie
that a
Bell's
different
not
guy?
the one in the ballet movie?
Wait, Black Swan?
No. Yeah, Billy Elliot.
Oh, that.
He was Billy. He was Billy.
It was Billy.
Billy Elliot.
He was Billy Elliot. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know that was a movie. I'm sorry.
Even I've heard of it.
I never heard of it.
It's like a little boy who dances.
Yeah.
And
wait, was it a musical?
Keep dancing,
Yes.
Billy.
Oh, okay.
It was
okay.
like a play first or something.
Okay. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
All right. Gotcha. All right, and also in this we have Toby Cabell, who is going to play Victor Domashev. Not Victor Doom, Victor Domashev, whose online name is Doom. Because there is the difference in this movie, whereas Doom before was actually, like a sinister man who controlled, businesses and had a ton of power, then developed this, ability. In this, he is a troll. He is an internet troll. That is our main villain.
And is that name
Doom?
Eastern European? Or?
No, I don't know. It hasn't been revealed yet. It's probably. Domashev sounds Eastern European. Yeah.
So we're also going to villainize Eastern Europeans.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Right. And
so excited.
Right. And this guy hasn't been in anything too notable, but he was in Wrath of the Titans as well as The Counselor. As far as this is concerned, this movie has been in developmental hell for a long time. It's finally getting made. It's finally getting released. But it seems like fans and non-fans alike are saying,
No.
we don't want this.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies where, from the beginning, everyone has said, look, you don't have to remake Fantastic Four, leave it alone. Because at this point, what they're trying to do with it is they're trying to make the Fantastic Four like a Christopher Nolan film. Look at the trailer, look at the visuals and the coloring and the grading scheme. It looks like a Christopher Nolan film. Like they're trying to make it too dark, too gritty. And you know what? Marvel doesn't do that. They don't do that. Even on the X-Men side, with the 20th Century Fox side.
Didn't they try to do that with like Wolverine Origins?
A little bit, or even just the Wolverine. They try to do that a little bit. But it doesn't really work with that, All of the X-Men films, good or bad, they still are a little lighthearted. There's some comedy. There's, some...
It feels like a comic book.
Right.
Like
right.
the Marvel...
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It feels like a comic book.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like a comic book. This feels like something Christopher Nolan would direct to make it feel like it came from our world. And it shouldn't be that way. That can work for, The Dark Knight. For the gritty realism that Batman needs, It can work for that. You could say either worked or didn't work for Man of Steel.
Did not work.
It didn't work. But you can fight Paul on that one.
Really? He thought Man of Steel worked?
He loved Man of Steel. Oh, I can see
I think she's rethinking this whole Wonder Twin thing.
Yeah, I know. As much as he hates DC, he loved Man of Steel. Steam is pouring out of her ears, folks. Anyway, so with this, I just don't know. I'm like, first off, it looks like they're not going to space to get their powers. Now, again, I don't know the origins of their powers, but it seems to me they had always gone to space and were exposed to some sort of radiation and then got these powers. In this, that's not how it's happening. They're being exposed to some sort of radiation in these suits inside this contraption. And
you can't really. It's a teaser. You don't really know what's going on.
Right, you don't.
It was in between, because I thought that they were in space at some point in time, and I also thought that they were being experimented on. I couldn't really tell exactly what was happening,
and neither could I. And that's what I'm saying. With this teaser, there's not a whole lot to take from it other than the visual sense and what tone the movie is going to be in. And the tone, I just don't agree with. The first Fantastic Four movies, the first one, I know a lot of people didn't like the Fantastic Four, then Rise of the Silver Surfer.
There was more than one? Oh, right.
Yeah. The one where, what's his name? Lawrence Fishburne was the Silver Surfer, which was good casting. I liked that. Yep. And as good or bad as they were a little lighthearted, and they were fun. This is so dark and so different from what the original was. It's okay, you're trying to be original, but this shouldn't be the route you're taking.
This is why people stop doing original things.
Right.
Because they get criticized for being original. No, I'm kidding. Either they're not original enough, or it's
they're being original, but in the wrong way.
Original, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't even say this is original.
No,
because they're just taking it from Christopher Nolan. It's them trying to mimic the other style of the other competitor, which is DC in this case. And
I don't know.
I don't agree with it.
I don't know how you. I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who was what.
Yeah.
I saw whatever they had the Human Torch turn into flame. I thought that looked cool, but other than that, I had nothing else to take away from this. Yeah. They didn't show any other power of anybody else.
Right. They showed what's his name stretching his arm for half a second.
It wasn't even that.
Really.
It was just kind of
he kind of went.
That was a flash,
and it was
it was inferred that he stretched.
Right.
And you had the thing.
Yeah, you saw
breaking out
crumbly
of a
rock, but it wasn't really him.
I feel like this teaser didn't do its job, where I'm not looking forward to anything else that's coming from it. It's not making me feel like, oh my God, that's kind of interesting. I'm basically just going huh? In a bad way.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I'm just
was The Age of Ultron a teaser, or was that a trailer?
It was a teaser.
It was a teaser.
Okay.
Because it didn't reveal any plot points.
That's what I thought.
Most trailers will reveal one or two things that will occur within the movie. But that's not always the case.
Yeah. But even that's what I was hoping it was a teaser. That got me
It got you excited.
Yeah, it was really,
Yeah, it got me pumped.
And that's what a teaser is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you excited for a property.
Makes you confused.
Yeah. Or I can't wait to see the trailer. And then after you see the trailer, I can't wait to see the movie. But this did nothing for me. I honestly forgot that we had this. After Spy, I was just that was the last trailer. Oh wait, no.
Right, there was one more.
It really did absolutely nothing for me.
And you know what? I'm glad you're all saying this, because this has pretty much been the unified reaction of the internet. Meh.
Yeah.
There's nothing to take away from this.
Yeah.
Nothing to really be excited over. It's okay, it's another Fantastic Four. And by the way, they've already greenlit the second one. They don't even know how well this is going to do. It could be garbage, and they've already greenlit the second one.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm not looking forward to this at all.
No.
It's only a teaser, but I'm not looking forward to this. We might revisit this when a trailer comes out, a full trailer, but no.
I feel like I could live without this in my life.
Absolutely
really,
agreed.
It's really just
right. So finally finishing up for the night, we have our feature presentations. One that we didn't actually talk about, but we've seen some TV spots for it recently, was The Loft.
Uh-huh.
Now, that has Carl Urban and
James Marsden.
Yep. And
who's the third one?
There's four guys, I think.
Oh,
but,
I thought it was three.
I think. Well, I don't know who the others are though.
Wentworth Miller, isn't it?
Who?
Wentworth Miller, the guy from Prison Break.
Oh, okay.
So the top billed cast is Carl Urban, James Marsden, and Wentworth Miller.
Okay.
Oh, and Eric Stone Street, isn't it?
Remind me.
He's on Modern Family. He's Cam on Modern Family.
Okay. All right. So as far as this is concerned, we didn't discuss this because I've only ever seen the teasers or I shouldn't say the teasers, the TV spots and trailers for it in maybe the last 2 weeks or so.
Right.
But I mean, it's about 4 guys who have like this secret place, like a loft, the loft, and they go and take women up there and have a great time, away from their wives and their lives, you know.
Yeah, I think it's just.
I feel like there should be a song.
I think it might be that whole concept that maybe just has me turned off to it.
Right, and then some girl ends up dead, and it turns out someone is framing them for it about this secret room they have.
Hey, maybe she's not dead.
Oh,
that's good.
Dun, dun, dun. But no, I don't know if I'm looking forward to this one or not. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it, but just from what I've seen in the previews, it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just it. I don't know.
I mean, I like all the actors.
Oh, yeah.
I love Carl Urban, James Marsden. James Marsden, I'm sorry. And Wentworth Miller is pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that was the premise. Like, they have a secret loft or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just didn't realize. I guess I didn't think about it. I was just like, oh, okay, some woman's dead. It's some place that they somehow stumbled upon. So, okay.
Okay.
Apparently, I don't think too much into these things.
But, yeah, probably not one we're going to see. Not really interested in. But also coming out in the coming week is Project Almanac. Now, we did discuss this one. This is one we're not looking forward to.
No.
I don't think I was here when we discussed it.
No. We just discussed it on the last podcast. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was with John.
But Project Almanac is about 4 kids who discover time travel and end up fucking with time and being real dipshits with time.
Yeah.
Is it like Timeline?
No, I don't know if it's probably no.
Full circle, people. Full circle. I'm sorry.
It's okay. A few reasons to dread this. 1, it's because the kids are just complete idiots when it comes to their time travel. 2, it's from Michael Bay. 3, it's from Platinum Dunes. So all these things combined have me saying, no, fuck this movie. It's one of the last January releases, which tells you, no, avoid it. But
right.
All I can say is, yeah, if it's Michael Bay, if it's Platinum Dunes, if it's this kind of script with these kids being these much of a jackasses, just no, avoid it.
So I'm just going through, because I wasn't here, and so I'm just looking the movie up and stuff. I'm looking at the top billed cast and stuff.
Yeah, no one really notable.
No one notable. But we've got so many of the female cast members just as Bikini Girl.
Yep.
And
nice.
And the blonde.
Right.
And another Bikini Girl.
Fantastic.
And Spanx Girl.
Oh, good.
So, obviously this is a movie that's
good.
shaping up to be, a definite winner here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael Bay. Oh, yeah, we're going to be skipping that one. So, after that, we're going to be having a film that, boy, oh boy, has been delayed to hell and back. Jupiter Ascending.
Or as I like to call it in my head every time I see it, Mercury Rising.
Mercury Rising.
Which is a totally different movie.
But this was supposed to come out last summer, if you recall.
Uh-huh.
It was supposed to be a summer release. It looked great.
Yeah.
The visuals in this are astounding.
The one thing, I don't think I can take Channing Tatum seriously. The
I
way
don't-
he looks in this.
This is the ears. He looks like an elf. He looks
Not
like...
just it's the ear, the hair, the weird facial hair. It's
the
really
weird
light.
For me, it's the weird facial hair.
Yeah.
The weird facial hair gets me. I'm just like, I would like to see Channing Tatum, but I don't want to see his weird facial hair.
Exactly.
So
Agreed.
But
I can't.
I'm pretty excited for this film, though. Like, I want to
As
see
am I.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm very worried that it's been delayed this long. It makes me think that there's either been a lot of post-production problems, or they were not really comfortable with the script.
I think it also, there looks like there was a lot of CG stuff.
Oh, and there was, and that can harp something. That can really hurt something
Right.
in post-production, and that's the truth. But if they were slated for a summer release, they should have planned it out accordingly.
Well, I think they were also debating as to whether or not to get rid of Channing Tatum's facial hair in post-production.
Yeah, that would have been a lot. They probably debated about that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, that's a lot of work, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
well.
but it's really weird.
Creepy.
Yeah.
It's gonna really turn people off.
So I'm sure that took like months of debate.
Well, in this, we have Channing Tatum. We have
and
Mila
his
Kunis,
facial hair.
And his facial hair. Mila Kunis. And we also have
Eddie
Sean
Remain.
Bean.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sean Bean's in it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Sean Bean. He'll probably die in the first 10 minutes.
Probably.
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean.
And Eddie is it Eddie Remain? Is that?
Yeah.
What's his name?
He's the main antagonist, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love his voice.
Yeah, he's a pretty good voice.
Like, oh, that voice.
But yeah, this is
Calm down.
from what we can tell from what we've learned from the trailers and the
like
TV
voices
spots.
and accents.
It's about the fact that Earth is actually like a farm colony. Like they plan to harvest all humans or something. Like basically mankind was just placed here thousands of years ago by these aliens. And they just plan to harvest us once there's enough of us. And there's nothing we can do about it. But
I thought it was about someone who was supposed to be queen of something.
Mila
And
put
that's
her
what-
on
yes.
Earth, and then the guy's like, "No, I want to be king.
Well,
and
that's-
you must
yeah,
kill
yeah,
her."
yeah,
and that's part of it too.
That's all I got.
That's part of it. Mila Kunis is some sort of
mean-
ancient lineage, right?
I mean, I was just focused on Channing Tatum's facial hair.
Right. I totally got distracted by that. So maybe
So I had
that's
no
where they
idea what was
talked about
actually
it.
going on.
We're gonna have to see this, and you're going to harp on his facial hair the entire review.
You know how I am, well, more with hair, but you know how
Hair.
it takes me out of movies. I can't. If someone has like funky hair in a movie, I'm like, ew, I can't stop looking at it. What's going on? I can't focus.
I'm with you. I understand that. I'm probably not as extreme, but I understand it. I know where you're coming
Yeah,
from.
okay, thank you.
So I mean, we want to see this though.
Yes, definitely.
I mean,
Like,
I hope it's good. I mean, I have a lot of trepidations about it because I'm afraid of why it's been delayed so long.
Right.
But I really do want to see
Yeah.
it. Visually, it's stunning.
Yeah.
Aside from
Like-
the facial hair.
Aside from the facial hair, yes.
I remember when because this was actually came out. The trailer was right before Mockingjay as well. So
Right, this trailer's been out for like a year now.
yeah, but
Right.
like right before Mockingjay, they played it again, and as soon as it came on, I just kept hitting Robin. I'm just like, oh my god, we have to see this. 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 And he's like, okay, okay. So,
Hopefully it does well, and hopefully it is good.
yeah.
After that, we have The Seventh Son, which is another movie that's been delayed a lot.
Yeah.
This one was actually supposed to come out late last summer, I believe. Before it would have been after Jupiter Ascending, but it's still been delayed quite a lot.
Yeah.
And remember we talked about this a long time ago, and since then I've still been poking fun of Jeff Bridges at talk. I don't have to do it much longer, Kim. Don't worry. But it just sounds like he has peanut butter and gum and everything in his mouth and just
I remember
can't
that.
talk.
I don't remember the movie, but I remember him going on about that.
The seventh son of the seventh son.
Jesus.
Open your mouth! Talk!
I've been having to hear that every day for like the
again.
past 2 months.
You don't understand the power you have.
That
What?
must get annoying.
Oh no, not at all.
I'll
I
stop.
stab myself in the ear.
I'll stop. I'll
Oh,
stop.
that's why it's not annoying because you can't actually hear anything.
Right, yeah.
What? Anyway, this looks pretty generic. I mean, I know there are some people who are excited for it, but I don't know what's going on here. So the seventh son of the seventh son, for some reason, has some extraordinary power, and he's able to fight off demons and witches or something. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
I don't know why, but for some reason it reminds, not in any linear way at all, but of Stardust with the whole seventh son. And
I
I'm
could
like,
see that.
Every
I
time
could
they
see
talk
that.
about it, I think of that movie.
Well, also, you have Julianne Moore playing some sort of witch.
Yeah.
And then there's a younger woman who has some sort of affinity to the side of good that she's trying to destroy and take her power or something. You don't really know, but she wants this other girl for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I've never actually seen, I don't think, the whole trailer, because every time it comes on, you start doing your Jeff Bridges, and I don't.
And you have to run away.
Yes. So, not really sure what else happens after he says you are the seventh son of the seventh son.
We'll watch the trailer again. I won't say anything. I don't know what to say about this. It's just very confusing as to what this movie really is about.
Yeah.
Other than Jeff Bridges trying to train this guy to become some warrior because he's the seventh son. And yeah, like that's it. And then you see some monsters and a witch and some magical powers, and that's it. Like, tell me, what's this movie about? Because no one can tell me.
And because you don't understand what Jeff Bridges is actually saying.
Right.
Maybe, like, the story was actually narrated throughout the trailer, but we just couldn't understand it.
We couldn't understand it, right. But no, this is one I'm not looking forward to, just because, not only because it's been delayed so long and it makes me worried about it, but I just don't know what it's about. And I couldn't care. You know, it's that we get a lot of these, you know, time period epics now, where we have, like Nicolas Cage had one which was like Season of the Witch. Do you remember that? Where it's kind of along the same lines. Where it's just, you know, something to do with the past.
Was there kids?
I don't recall. But it was just, you know, some guy who's trying to fight evil, and it's in medieval times. Simple as that. Or you don't even know where it is or when it is.
Medieval times.
Ancient times, if you will.
Oh, no, I was just thinking of the place.
Oh, just medieval times. Yeah. It's being held inside an arena.
Every time I hear medieval times, it makes me think of Cable Guy.
Yes. So finally, we have the SpongeBob movie.
Not finally, but...
What?
Oh, yeah, there's one more.
Oh, there's one more. We'll talk about that in a second. Sorry. But we have the SpongeBob movie.
And I know I said I love SpongeBob earlier, but...
You don't know about this one?
Yeah. Pretty much, it just doesn't make sense because, like, I know you said before, when they come out of the water, he turns into a sponge, and Mr. Krabs turns into a crab.
And if you look at the poster art for this, Sandy turns into a real squirrel when she goes on land.
Yeah.
In this movie, everyone else is turning into their cartoon forms except for Sandy, who turns back into a real squirrel. So you're admitting that, you know, this does happen, and that she turns back into a real squirrel, but everyone else is still normal? What the hell happened? And I know we're asking a lot to break down the logic of the SpongeBob movie, but
it makes me mad. If they do that in the show, why can't
they make the movie right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Now, you know, you could say that, you know, in the first movie when they went up on land, they were their cartoon forms, and that was just SpongeBob.
No, but then
Patrick.
Patrick started to like turn into the starfish.
Right, when they were dried out, they turned into the sponge and the starfish.
Yeah.
So they still did that, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if I want to see it. I only think they're making this because they're trying to finally finish SpongeBob. I mean, this show has been on for 16...
Are they going to kill him?
Yeah, they're going to kill him off. Yeah.
Cool.
But,
maybe I'll see it then.
But, you know, this show's been on for 15, 16 years now. It's like the third longest running animated show of all time. Think about that. That's amazing.
I didn't know that it had gone on for so long.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know they were still making new episodes.
They are still making new episodes. I think they're on a break now, but this may be like the last hurrah they have. This was one of the last original Nicktoons.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with Rugrats and Doug. This was the last of the original Nicktoons. That's how long it's been on.
But then again, like, before we had, like, Our Real Monsters, which creeped me out.
Oh, I loved that show.
Was awesome.
It was amazing.
I love that show.
Yeah, and, I want to cosplay as the guy who holds the hands.
The eyes. Yeah.
Eyeballs in his hands, yeah.
And then you can be the stick one.
Oblina?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So like
I remember her
black
name.
and white candy cane.
I remember
Yeah.
Now, Crumb? Was
Crumb.
it Crumb?
Yes, Crumb.
Crumb.
I don't remember.
That was the guy who held his eyeballs.
Oh, okay. And like, you know, and Ren and Stimpy and Rocco's
Modern
Life.
Life. Yes,
Like,
love Rocco.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those shows were
weird.
They were great.
Very
really
weird.
So
They
good.
really were. Even watching them as a kid, I'm like, this is kind of
really weird,
Why
yeah.
does that cat doctor have a hook for a hand? And why is she marrying a turtle? And they're having
and
kids?
Cow and Chicken.
No, that was
Cartoon Network,
Yeah.
right? But still, like that was like
That's a whole other list for another time. There's
So
a lot of
weird.
weird ones.
Another kind of weird.
Yeah. So I mean, I stuck with the Rugrats and Doug, and that was it. That's all I was able to watch without being either weirded out too much or freaked out or whatever it was.
But as far as this goes, I don't think there's any of us who want to see this. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it's good. I really do. The first SpongeBob movie, I had fun with it.
Yeah.
You know, there were some nice little cameos, and they wrote a pretty decent story. It wasn't original, but it was a fun story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're doing with this one.
Kind of giving up on it.
Yeah.
On
But I think it's about
SpongeBob.
time for SpongeBob to retire. You know, just like same with The Simpsons. It's time to just move on. You know?
Yeah.
But finally, there was one trailer that you guys looked up that I had no idea you wanted to include, but go ahead.
Yeah. It's the Backstreet Boys documentary. Backstreet Boys, show them what you're made of.
I did not know this was a thing, but
It
apparently
was a
this comes
thing.
out in the next few weeks.
It comes out on the 30th.
Okay.
I think it is. And I mean, it's basically just a documentary kind of going through how they, got started and then up till now. It's like one of those ones where they did Justin Bieber had one and
A lot of people have them. I mean,
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had one.
Yeah.
It's
Right,
called This Is
right.
It,
I
which
feel-
actually wasn't that bad.
I feel like this might focus more on like the now, like what they're doing
Yeah.
after everything kind of went away.
yeah. And which is really interesting too because one line that they said is just like, I'm a 30-year-old man, like I'm a grown-up man
In a boy
In
band.
in a boy band. What do you do with that?
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting take because that is exactly what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And, apparently milking us fans for, the little that we have. But,
And you know what? And I'll give that fair props. There's something to say about that. You know,
Yeah.
when you have defined your career on being someone of that age and being exploitable from that age, what happens when you age 5 years?
When you grow up. Yeah.
And there's something to say about that. And maybe this documentary will offer something about that.
Yeah.
That's unique.
and and I think the Backstreet Boys were kind of, I mean, obviously they weren't the first boy band or anything like that.
right.
But, I mean, I grew up with the Backstreet Boys.
Oh yes.
Like,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they paved the way for NSYNC and O-Town and
I
Westlife and
actually
all that kind of
thought
stuff.
like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were kind of at the same time, weren't
But
they?
the Backstreet Boys started
first.
before NSYNC for sure. Like,
Yes.
yeah. Like,
hands down.
yeah. And I would used to have fights at school about whether the Backstreet Boys were better or NSYNC
Oh my God.
was better.
Every single school, there were girls having this argument.
Yeah. So, but it's really interesting to see, kind of what they've become. Like, I mean, I still listen to their music, and I still think that their new albums and stuff, I still listen to it, and I still buy them and everything. And I don't think I would see this in a theater necessarily,
Right.
But I think I would eventually kind of get myself a copy and watch it.
I think at least it seems like Backstreet Boys, they've actually stayed
Together.
as a boy band more so
Right.
than anybody else.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
NSYNC totally disbanded. Justin
Yeah.
Timberlake is on his own. Other ones try to do things, but they don't
They
matter
didn't,
anymore.
yeah.
And even New Kids on the Block, like they
might-
had a tour again, but
was like a
They might have a
Danny,
reunion, but that's about
the
it.
Yeah.
Wahlberg, he's like actually he's in like film and TV and stuff
Right.
like that,
Right.
and they're doing different things. Like it seems like these guys, I know Nick,
Had his own reality show.
he tried, but
Yeah,
it didn't really work.
But even at that point, they were still a boy. Like they
Right.
were never we're officially disbanding. Or anything like that.
Exactly.
I mean, Kevin left, and then and then came back, but
Yeah,
they never.
and did AJ like went? He had to go to rehab or something, didn't he?
Probably.
So yeah, they're like the main ones who actually stayed and are still making music. So
Yeah, like
I found that interesting.
Yeah, I mean, when did New Kids on the Block form? Like in the
It was late 80s.
Yeah, I think
very late 80s.
I think the Backstreet Boys were like
to
the
late 80s.
first of the 90s to kind of hit it off.
Yeah.
Like to start.
Only because I know because my sister was into them. I would argue the first of the 90s was Hanson.
No, the Backstreet Boys were before Hanson.
Backstreet Boys were
Are
before.
you sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm 99.9% sure about that.
Like, I know when Hanson started, I was definitely older, and I used to yell at people and say, no, that's definitely a girl. So,
yes.
I mean,
the young
I
boy's
was
a girl.
older, and I remember making that claim, and I know Backstreet Boys was definitely before that.
Yeah, they started in 1993.
Okay.
Years active, it says 1993 to present.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
we know our Backstreet Boys.
Oh, I'm sure. I know you do. I know you do. Anything else to say about that trailer?
No.
Or the movie coming out soon?
Yeah, like I am excited about it in the sense that I want to see it because
I want to go listen to the music.
I know, now I do. And then, they should totally come back around this area to do a tour because we are definitely there.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Wow.
Well, sorry for the length of this podcast. This is a rather long one, but hopefully you guys have stuck with us. We did have a lot of interesting debates in this podcast, but I think it was a good one. I want to thank the Goddess of Gore for coming by.
Word
to your mother.
Word up.
I want to thank the Fangirl Extraordinaire for coming back.
I'm back.
She's back. Glad to have you back. And I once again am the Projectionist. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Have a very good night and take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Can't